Happy Friday night, everybody out there. Thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks for being here. We got one heck of a show lined up for you tonight. Going to be very interesting. We're going to learn some stuff. We are live from the Euroshrine. We've got a lot of people there that are going to be tuning in with us, telling us all about what goes on there, what it is. So we all have a lot of questions, I'm sure. Joining us, as always, we've got the snooty lady that comes up here only to make us poors feel better. How you doing tonight there, Gutters Pub?
I'm doing good, and I'm excited about tonight.
I know it's going to be a blast. Fresh back from Tesla Tech, we've got our token mad scientist, Nathan. How you doing tonight, brother?
Oh man, it's been a great night. We have a full house and amazing people.
I know. I'm pretty excited about this one. We do have the crazy cat lady, our red-headed stepchild, joining us tonight as well. Tombstones, how you doing?
Hey, everybody. Happy freaking Friday. It's here at last. Woo-hoo.
I know. I feel like I'm going to get a cat thrown at me now. But yeah, thanks everybody out there. We're going to be bringing up, we got Doug from the Wendibros. His whole crew is there with us. And we've also got Rick Bunn up here with us as well. This should be really interesting. I don't really know where this is going to go, but I'm sure here for it. So thanks a lot, everybody. Make sure you have hit that thumbs up button no matter where you are. We are streaming live out on X. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're streaming live over on Gutters Pub. We're streaming live on Old Man Builds. We're streaming live here, Traveling Fools as well, Tombstones, Gutters. Everybody, sit back. About to get this going.
Would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in?
And you won't be angry?
I will not be angry.
Abby someone.
Abby someone. Abby who?
Abby normal.
Abby normal.
Listening to the ASN Podcast Network.
All right, here we are, everybody. Thanks a lot. Like I said, once again, thanks everybody for being here. I see a lot of you fine folks already coming in here. Venomous Venoms, good to see you, SoCal Buckeye. Shane Reynolds, what is going on? We've got a whole lot of people. Little Miss Red Velvet. We might get to see a doll tonight. So I'm sure you are excited about that. Good to see. We got James Lynch up in here. A whole lot. We're backed way up on this right now. Ernie Birdie, good to see you. Now we're getting some feedback from my end. Give me a minute. There we go. We've got a 3D Havoc in here. Let's see. Aaron, good to see you. Wanda E. Ann Howcroft. A whole lot of excellent people. We'll be saying hey to people all night long, but we do appreciate each and every one of you coming in here. Super awesome. We've got with us, we've got Rick. Okay, so we got Rick Bunn over here. I think we should, it's only cordial to start with you and ask who the heck you are and what you got going on there, Rick. So how you doing tonight there, Rick?
Doing well, and thank you for having me on your podcast. I've been watching it a bit, and I'm actually looking forward to it tonight. I really am. And from what you can say what's going on, that could be a 2-day thing. But basically, we're here at the Euroshrine, a building that I started about 20 years ago, remodeling. It's family property. And it has turned into I guess what you would call a magnet somewhat for paranormal and a few other things. So I'm willing tonight to answer any questions you got. Everybody can just ask away, and I'll try to see if I can fill you in on what you want to know.
He's still muted. Hey, fools, you're muted.
Doesn't happen often.
Yeah, I've got some really bad mute button going on right now. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's something's come over here and doing it for me. So, Rick, what a lot of people probably have no idea what a Euroshrine is. If Doug hadn't come on here and said, hey, we've got Rick from a Euroshrine coming on, I would have had no idea what a Euroshrine was because I had to look into it. Can you explain, can we start at the beginning, kind of explain what that is?
Okay, and I'll try to stay away from as much Japanese terminology as I can because can be confusing. And I was born here in Appalachia, so I speak Appalachian Japanese with the words I use, so I'll probably say them incorrect. Basically, how this came to be, as quickly as I can get started, is I've been in the martial arts since I was 12 years old. Troubled kid. They found something that would keep me out of trouble, and it's martial arts. It was a very traditional Japanese style, nothing like the UFC stuff, mostly sword work and a few things, more traditional. And I started at 12 and was exposed to Shintoism at the dojo, at the school. And I have an earlier background in different things we'll go into tonight if you want. But basically, I kind of acculturated into the Japanese culture, found it very calming, directive, gave me direction that I wanted to do. And so what it is in a Yura now, I have to use terms for this, but in the martial arts, and this is a martial arts style Shinto shrine. It is not a Jinja shrine like you would find in Japan or what have you. Very specific, and we can go into that as well later. But if you've ever watched a martial artist do a kata, and most people, that's a form where they're out performing something, look like they're dancing, or someone can be very smooth and flowing, some can be very thing. When you're looking at that, there's three terms that comes to Japan. One is omote, the other is yura, and the last one is honto. And to qualify that, if all of you were suddenly looking at somebody performing a exercise, whatever that would be, I'm hearing music. Anyway, that you would see an exercise, that would be what's called the omote. Every one of you would see a person throw a kick. Everyone would see a punch and go, that was a punch. If he rolled on the ground, you would look at it and go, that's a roll. That's what is apparent. Now, in the martial arts, there's a thing that's called yura or uda, depends on how you would say it. And that is what is the hidden meaning behind that. So an individual could throw a block and you would say that was a block. But the block later on might be something that sets up for a throw. In other words, it has a dual meaning. A kick might be a fake to set up something else. That is called the yura. The yura means that although you're seeing it, there is a secret behind it that you have to study a little bit longer to understand. In other words, a simple technique that everybody would, in other words, if you're sparring, the reason you get hit is because an individual faked you off, for lack of a better term. You know, you thought he was going to do something, he did something else, and you got hit. Just a point. That would be a yura technique, a technique that was hidden or secret. And then the last term is called honto, which means you understand the meaning. So with that analogy used in this type of a shrine, this is a yura shrine, which means when you look at it, and you're looking around here tonight and you will see all kinds of things. You won't see the traditional Japanese stuff that's upstairs, and it's considered to be disrespectful to show on any kind of pictures, that kind of thing. But the rest of it down here you can. You will look at things and see an apparent Japanese something, and everybody will have the same idea about what it is. It looks like a dog, or it looks like a cat or a banner or something, but the yura is the secret behind it. So as a yura shrine, people who come here are practitioners that you could bring, in other words, 10 different people. Every one of you could come here. You would all see the same thing, but each of you would leave with a different recognition or understanding of what it means to you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did I confuse it?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a shrine that you can look at, but the fact that it is a yura shrine means it is a shrine with secrets. Not secrets like nobody knows it, like it's ultimately secret. It's just that if you wanted to know why this is built into this corner, then you would have to ask, and then you would be explained why that is. So that's why it's called a yura shrine instead of just a Jinja shrine or something like that.
I got you. So you're located. I mean, I guess we can talk about where you're located. This isn't a secret, correct? I mean,
oh no, we've been here for 20 years. We're
right. Okay, I always got to be careful with YouTube telling people where. So this is a thing in Tennessee, correct? And
correct.
outside of Bristol.
It's actually outside the city limits of Bristol, heading towards a closer town, and I'm like 3 miles from the city limits. And
isn't that the home of country music as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Supposedly and I could be wrong on this because I'm not a music specialist. That would be more in John and Doug's thing. They're musicians, but yeah, supposedly the first, I think it was not Johnny Cash, but who his wife was or something, recorded here first. So yes, the Country Music Hall of Fame museum is actually here in Bristol. Bristol is unique. It is a town that is split in the middle, straight down the middle between Tennessee and Virginia. So you could literally cross the street, start in Tennessee, and stand in the middle. You're in two states. So the museum is in the Virginia side.
I got you. Okay, so and a lot of people come and visit what you have going on here. So what kind of like different people are attracted to this and why? What are they come there seeking?
Well, the practice my specific practice is a form of what the Japanese call amyodo, and I started this at probably 14 years old. I've been doing it for over 50 years. And amyodo is basically kind of like study of yin and yang, yin-yo, kind of like feng shui. Everybody talks about where you place something in a corner to do something. It's kind of obviously Asian, and that's my practice. Now, I am a martial artist, and I'm retired now due to my age. I don't no longer compete and that sort of thing. But the reason people come here is that this place is an invitation in this particular craft of amyodo and what have you. Spirits known as kami are welcome here. And so it's kind of like going to any place that would willingly allow you to practice something, which is what I do here. So I guess the reason as many people come here, because I don't really have any specific amyodo students. That's a 20-year path at least. And I've had a few, but I don't have any locally. And so people come here because they can practice their craft as long as they're paying respects to each other. And there's supposedly a lot of spirits here, a lot of ghosts. This place is open to any and all things that want to come here. So a lot of people have found that in the paranormal investigation since about 2005, found this place unique. There was one gentleman that made a statement here. He said, first time he came here is probably 15 years ago for him. He said, this place is. And I said, I don't understand. He said, most paranormal investigators go to a place that was. It was a battlefield. It was a psych hospital. It was something. And now it's empty and they're all residual. This place is. And I said, what do you mean? He said, and it is. This is an active place that right now there are rituals that are done here daily, sometimes monthly, depending on what group is here, maybe for a full moon, or if it is a coven type thing, it might be for one of the Sabbats. There are Nordics that have been here, Druids, necromancers. It's pretty much anybody that wants to come here and experience the shrine. It is private, so I can't just open the door to anyone because you have no idea who would show up. But so that's the main draw. There have been many, many, many hundreds of people that come here to experience the shrine in their path or their craft, not necessarily Japanese.
So how do people go about, like say somebody was interested in going there, how do they go about that? They contact you, you kind of vet them, I guess, in some kind of sense?
Well, I used to do that here specifically. I have no social media presence merely because I'm not very good at that sort of thing, and probably am old enough and determined enough not to try and learn it. But so basically, people like Doug, if anybody, everybody that's come here has known somebody that has been here, and it's kind of a recommendation, kind of like how I got to your show. It was merely that Doug says, hey, this guy you want to talk to, don't want to talk to, could be interesting, curious. It's the same way. So I talked with Doug and his team before we started tonight and said, if somebody actually wants to try and visit the shrine or contact, would it be okay if they contact you? And he said that would be fine because he's pretty good at screening things. So Doug, the Wendibros, I have some others. There was a team here for a while, the Shadow Chasers, and there's a couple of people that I think you heard. Audra is there. Aaron, some of the others, they can get in touch with them. But if you're looking around, if you go to, oddly enough, if you go to Facebook and just type in You're a Shrine Bristol, you'll see hundreds, literally, of things that have been here and posted. If you go to YouTube and type in You're a Shrine Bristol, there's probably 200 videos there, even some TV shows that's been shot here that I've not had anything except try to wander around be in. You may know somebody in one of those, because although the paranormal is a very large group, it's somewhat interconnected as far as somebody, I know that individual. They could talk to that individual and say, were you here? And it'll eventually get back to you. So everybody's welcome as long as, good attitude. And, yeah, it's awesome.
Right. Be respectful. Be respectful.
Of course, you do that anywhere. Yes.
Nathan Toombs, Gutters, you got any questions there? Anything you want to ask before we dive in more?
I do. So I think you said you'd been there about 20 years. Was it like an established place already, or did you come to it and it was like just open space and then you just started to build something? And was there like activity or anything like that beforehand?
Okay, the actual property here was bought by my grandfather back in the 30s. He built houses on it, what have you. And I have played in this very house and yard since I was 2 or 3 years old, because I just grew up about 5 miles from here. And my grandparents, this was their place. And of course, my profession took me away from Tennessee to be able to, have a profession. And I was gone for quite a few years. And I would come back to visit, of course, it's my hometown, and see my family and extended family, cousins, what have you. Well, my grandfather had 11 kids, so pretty good family. And then, it's just kind of like the times. And then my parents, which would be, in the 40s, 30s, 40s. My father was born in the 30s. That we all had kids, 4 or 5. So there was an entire, back in the day, you would come up here for like family reunions, there'd be 100 people walking around that were relatives. Anyway, in the 80s, my grandfather and all the other uncles, aunts that was here kind of wanted to get away from the place, and they were going to sell the property. And my father decided to purchase the property just to keep it in the family. And from 85 to about 2000, which would have been 15 years or so, cousins, what have you, would live up here if they needed something. The place was quite run down. It looked very, in other words, everybody who's here was in a situation that they couldn't pay rent or something. It's just family. It's a mountain kind of thing. They could come here and stay. And when I moved back up to here in 2001, it's just after 9/11, and was moving on to go to another professional out towards Las Vegas and that thing, occupation, but decided to stay here. So I purchased the property from my father, and it was very, very run down. So I started repairing it. Now, I had just went through a divorce. I've had several, law enforcement background, so traveled a lot, different things. So that was just the way things happened. And I had just went through a divorce, moved up here, was actually thinking about moving west, looked at the property, slowed down from big cities like Raleigh, Memphis, New Orleans, Atlanta, Miami, big cities, and decided to stay. So I started, because I was single, and I've been single since, I started repairing the thing. And as I said, I had grown up. Now, I've owned several martial arts academies, as many as 3 at one time, my entire adult life. So when I started building the place, I started building it as an individual that, take an adult. In my mind, I'm still like a high schooler. So if you took a high schooler that had enough money and a place to build it that he wanted the way to do it, and I'm by no means wealthy, but so I started building the place. And I had no female input at that time. So as a joke, I always say, if I wanted to put a 30-foot blue velvet Elvis on the wall, I didn't have a wife or a girlfriend, it would say, that's kind of tacky. Don't do that.
I like it.
So I just started building the place as I wanted. I started building a grotto for whatever reason. And there's backstories to all this. And after a while, people kept coming around going, okay, what are you doing with the old family house? And given my background in the practices that I do, this is the buckle of the Bible Belt here. And I started having relatives come by that are very religious, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I was that cousin or that uncle or what have you that had all the weird stuff, had a coffin here or something. And so pretty much my relatives all said, yeah, we're not going up there anymore. So basically how it happened is I just started building it like I wanted to, with no controls. People have said it's kind of like the Winchester house.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, there's stuff
like
there
the Winchester Mansion.
Exactly, except she's way more prolific in what she did, and I did most of the work myself, kind of like a therapy kind of thing. I'm not a contractor, but I'm handy with a hammer and a nail and a saw. And if I decided I wanted to build, it's like the cave. Dug it out. That I want to do this, and I did it, and there it is. And people will say, why in the world would you ever do this? Well, the obvious thing is, and get back to what I'd said previous, you walk in and you go, there's a cave, there's a grotto. And I'm older, so as a joke, but I do this just to the omote, the visual, the obvious, is the only other person in the United States that had a grotto like this was Hugh Hefner at the Playboy Mansion. And so
did it have anything to do with Hugh Hefner?
I actually thought, in a joking way, that if you build it, they will come. That didn't work. But so I actually built it. So the omote, the visual, and when people start saying, why did you build a cave? Then I can say, well, I'll tell them, just like I just told you, well, I wanted to have a Playboy Mansion, but no Playboys came. The Ura, to what everybody says, is there is actually a practice that goes on in that cave. So that is the Ura. So by definition, when you come and you look, you'll say, oh, that's a cave. He just wants to have playmates bounce. Yeah, that would be great, but that never happens. So everybody laughs, they dismiss it, and then the rituals that were normally what that place is designed for can be carried on in plain sight. Nobody ever questions it.
I mean, I think we all like playmates. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Nobody's kicking those out at any time. Did you did you build this place or did you contract it? How did that work out?
The house itself, the structure itself, when I bought the property, there were two houses here, an old farmhouse that my father grew up in. And my grandfather built this, which was a duplex, a 2-story duplex. Underneath was like a garage for each side, and then a 2-bedroom, bath, kitchen thing upstairs, just like a big duplex, about just under 3,000 square feet total. And when I bought it, it was pretty much run down. The building was here. I'm not a contractor that I can build a building. So what I started doing is it was pretty run down. I mean, there are literally refrigerators in the my family is a bit they're rednecks pretty much, and so there would be refrigerators and old cars and stuff in the yard. So I started cleaning it all out, and I started fixing it up. And in the process of fixing it up, I moved into one side, which it's a duplex, like I said. So I moved into the best side, which was still pretty rough, and completely started gutting the other side myself, just as something to do. And that's when the things started happening, I guess around 2003, 2004, where I would be in one side of the apartment, as you would call it, and I would hear through the wall on the other side somebody running water or using the bathroom or talking in a place that was gutted down to the studs. So that's how the paranormal kind of got started, yes.
You started doing construction and probably stirred up a little bit, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely.
You said you had a couple, your grandparents, so you had a couple generations of your family that had been there, correct?
Yes.
So.
And my uncles on my father's side, this is my grandfather's side on my dad's side, and they were notoriously, we'll just say, rambunctious as a whole. Every police officer knew my uncles.
Uh-oh.
That, yeah. Oh, yes. And, it's the old joke about every time they get pulled over, they went to jail because not one of them ever much. I mean, some of them, some are very respectable, some of them very not, is they never had a driver's license ever. So whenever there was a this type, like to drink, like to moonshine, make it, drink it, party, yes, that was kind of like what a lot of my uncles were. And they were somewhat predators. Some of them, they were not nice men. Oh, yes. And so, yeah. So a lot of background in this that some of the shows dove into quite a bit. But, yeah, there's a little bit of a history in this place.
Are any of their graves close? Sorry, are any of their graves close to where the stuff happened?
You talk about graves?
Yeah, were any of their graves anywhere close to that? Or do you think it was just them in that room or anything like that?
Oh, well, there's an 80-person graveyard on the other side of my driveway. It's not mine, but it's an actual graveyard. And
all right, I'm coming to visit.
Yeah, we used to play in there. Yes. Let's see, who's the Doug was telling me somebody about gravestones, something.
Right
That'd be
above
me. Yeah, that'd
That'd
be
be you.
Tombstones. That's me.
Tombstone. There we go. I'm sorry. I actually have one. I was going to talk to him about sending you a picture of. This place is, over the years, and we go into how that happened, but people bring things here that they do not want somewhere else, that they are afraid to destroy. And the problem is, in Japan, if somebody passes away and they don't have children, it happens a lot, they take all the belongings that the team takes out of the house. Certain things like mirrors, dolls, things that would be close to the person who passed away are not discarded. They're treated very reverently. Not like a TV or a stove or a couch. That's just stuff. So the team would take that away. But things that you would consider to be dear to the person who was there, a hairbrush, a handheld mirror, a doll, things that would be personal, they would gather these up, very respectfully box them and take them to the nearest Shinto shrine, not a Yura shrine, but a Shinto shrine. And then the priest there would purify them in however that sect or that particular shrine did, and then he would burn them or destroy them. That's the proper way. Well, somehow or another, back in the early 2000s, people found out that I was a shrine, and they picked up on that. So anything that somebody didn't want in this room I'm sitting in is absolutely full, literally, of things that hundreds of people have brought in here and said, I'm afraid to destroy this. And how most of them come into these people's hands is that someone passes away and the estate goes over, and they go into the estate, and if somebody was a world traveler or a collector, and they'll go, this mask or this doll or this trinket makes me uncomfortable, but I don't want to throw it away. Would you take it? So I took them in, and the problem is I don't want to burn them, so I collect them. So that's how all of that stuff started coming here. So they just, and stuff comes in and leaves. Anyway, to go back to the thing, a gravestone was brought to be by a friend of mine, Jimmy, who's a pretty well-known paranormal investigator. And oddly enough, he's a collector. He's always out into the thing. He brought a small tombstone up that is out in the Tingu next to the Earth Gate. And it's an 1800-something Hannah Stover, which was a black female. And as I understand, and I could be wrong, that cemeteries, that if a graveyard, it's a graveyard if it is attached to a church, and then if it is not attached to a church, it's called a cemetery. Is that right?
That's
So
correct, yes.
this was in a graveyard at a Protestant church somewhere down in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, a few hours away from here. And the local kids started deciding that, for whatever reason, I don't know the reason that it did, but they assumed that this woman was a practicing witch. So people started going there and leaving offerings on the grave. They would put down crystals and flowers and stuff. And this highly upset the church members there, who had relatives buried there as well. So what they did is they voted in some capacity. They just decided to pull up the headstone and store it in the place where the people cut the grass, lawnmowers are.
Yeah.
And then the kids couldn't find the grave, so they couldn't leave the stuff. Well, the providence of that is that people started seeing a black female walking around this thing. So church people go, this got to go. They take it, they give it to another collector who takes it to his house. Same thing happens. They see a black female. They turn around and give it to Jimmy. Jimmy takes it to his house. His lady don't want it there. They take it to his father's house. They put it in his garage. His father and mother start seeing a black female walking around. So Jimmy packs it up, brings it here. So it's sitting out in there now. Obviously, she's not there. Hannah's not there, but her gravestone is. So I have to send you a picture of it.
Yeah, I would love to see that. And I've talked on here before about another woman who was claimed to be a witch that wasn't. And it's just like people need to be careful, like who they start. Like these ladies have been long dead. I think we need to leave their headstones alone. We need to leave their grave sites alone. And if somebody came along and, back in the day, that probably took all her family's money to put that headstone on there. And I could see why she's out walking around like, hey, put my headstone back.
Some things you just don't disrespect,
You don't. I mean, I would lock the cemetery up, like put something around. Somebody go there and watch and make sure. If you don't want people leaving stuff on the graves, then go make sure people aren't doing that. Don't remove her headstone. That's so disrespectful.
Exactly. That's horrible. If I could take a quick moment here, I did want to thank some people that are coming in here. I didn't want to. So Vortex becoming a member over there. I think that was on Nathan's or Tombs, I think. Much appreciated there. Vortex. Johnny Utah gifting out memberships over here. Johnny, love you, brother. Thank you so much. My Bubs, Mr. Duggar Fishing, coming in here buying his Bubs a beer. God is great. God is great. You are correct there, Mr. Duggar. Good to see you and much appreciate the support there. We got some jewels over here from my good buddy Harloha. We're getting bedazzled again. Also being a membership over here for 4 months. Thank you so much, Steve. Always appreciate you. John Kaplan throwing some more jewels at us as well. So much thanks everybody for the support. That is super awesome. So thank you very much.
Getting bedazzled tonight. Woo.
I know, we're always getting bedazzled. Now, Doug, we haven't heard from the Wendibros yet. We haven't heard from any of you guys. Doug, take it away. Tell us about your experiences there. I'm curious.
Yeah. So just to kind of, I'm sitting in the cave room right now, and I just wanted to give a quick perspective as to what I'm sitting in right now. Not the most comfortable spot, but yeah, just so you can kind of see, raise up a little bit. So it's a very interesting place. As far as it goes, I think that we have talked about it before, but we always find it to be a place of peace for us. We always enjoy coming here. It's always a really good time for us. And again, as far as it goes for experiences, I think that the last investigation that we did with Chasing Ravens, and I think John and I were here in February, which I'm sure John can probably touch on that too, is that we did hear some vocalizations in the hallway, which belonged to a male. That was not me, nor Rick, nor John. And then whenever we came with Chasing Ravens with Josh and Christy, Chasing Ravens actually heard vocalizations in that same hallway where there is an altar dedicated to the two gentlemen that lost their lives in Corpsewood Manor. And what we found were things that were very malicious, a little bit angry, but then we also kind of felt like we were dealing with some pranksters in a way, because whenever I said, hey, cut it out, they said, sorry, we're just playing with you guys pretty much. So yeah, we actually got that through the spirit box as we were doing the Estes session. And for those of you that are just tuning in, the Estes session, we use Delco goggles, flashing red lights, while we have these headphones on with the spirit box going on at the same time. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's been pretty substantial. Sally the doll, whenever we did that investigation with Chasing Ravens, Josh was actually communicating back and forth with me, having a fairly intelligent Q&A, so to speak. We actually put Sally with and Rick might be able to tell me the name of that other doll. What was the name of the other doll?
Marcellus.
Marcellus. So we had Marcellus and Sally in the casket, and they were actually going on. And I think Rick said, "Oh, we're not supposed to put these together, but you know what? We're going to test this theory out." And so we tested it out, and Marcellus and Sally were actually complimentary of each other, saying that she looks really pretty. I really enjoy the company. So we found that very fascinating on that end. The other thing too is whenever we had our static cam set up on Sally during our very first investigation here, during that investigation throughout the night, whenever none of us were in the room, the camera, and again this is John's action camera, and it does not have any movement or anything on it. It's just a static camera, but we noticed that every time we would reposition the camera would slowly drift back onto Sally. And what I find interesting about Sally is that you always have to ask for permission to photograph her, but we found that Sally's a little bit photogenic. She really likes the camera on her, and we thought that was pretty funny. Now during one of the incidents of the camera shifting, the curtain starts flowing directly behind me, and we ended up having the motion sensing light actually kick on at that time with nobody in the room at all.
Yeah, that's creepy. Doug, we do have a question coming in here.
Sure.
The Maven, what's up, the Maven? Good to see you as always. Are those real skulls? If so, whose?
Rick, you're going to have to answer that, buddy.
Okay. I'm assuming you're talking about the skulls that's in the grotto, the cave area. For about 20 some years, been throwing a pretty epic Halloween party, given the place and the cave and all that. It's a good place to throw a Halloween party. People started bringing skulls to the Halloween party and leaving them in the cave as like a token gift. And so every Halloween party, there's always one or two more show up. They're all pretty much, and sometimes they pile up too much. Supposedly from a med school, there is the top cap of an actual, skull that they use for medical training in there, but they hid it somewhere. I kind of know where it is, but no, they're not actual human skulls that are real. Now, if somebody sneaks one in, I would probably spot it. Some moves I notice, but yes, they're the skulls. Every Halloween, there's one or two more shows up, so that's how that is in there. Yes.
Okay, so you're not like collecting, dead bodies in the back or anything. So.
No. Well, supposedly from an uncle in the back, but nothing that can be proved. I'm mixed law enforcement, so yeah.
That on here.
Right. Not putting you on the spot or anything there.
It's got to have plausible deniability. I mean, you can't
Exactly.
say yes, I do.
So what about you? We got Josh and Christy in here with us as well, live at the Euroshrine. Tell us where you are, what you're sitting in front of, and what you got going on in your experience there.
Excuse me. This is my fourth time here. We're currently sitting at the dragon table. And like different sides, you can feel like different, I don't want to call them emotions, but I guess like wavelengths. Like where me and Christy are sitting, it's normally the gut side. But I mean, I've sat all around this table, and like all I felt is just like neutral everywhere, just like like Doug said, just at peace. And yeah.
Sorry, we're a little shy.
No, this is their first time on here, and so one thing I'll say is that I find very interesting about that table, and I'm not sure if they can actually position the camera to look at that table, but it was built with magnetite, and it's a very interesting table. We actually did a compass test on it. And each of the compass had each side of the compass had actually given a different sense of polarity in different directions. So if you actually sit it on the far end of the table, it will actually point directly out to the Oni shrine on there. John and I found that pretty fascinating. As long as you kept the trajectory of the compass, completely in line with everything, no matter which side you put put that on there, it would go to a different corner. So if we put it on the side where Josh and Christy are sitting, that compass would point to the side which we would say is more chaotic. If we put it on the chaotic side, it would point towards that good side. And then you had different polarities where you had one side where you felt a little bit mischievous and then one side where you just felt very neutral. And we did a clock test on that, and the clock test actually was synchronous on there. So we actually had the clock test go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so that the size of the table is fairly large where, you can't really cheat on that test. So nobody can really see who's doing what. So you would have different... you had full singularity despite the fact that nobody was able to really see what the other one was doing, and everybody reported different moods at each different side of that table.
Okay, that would be an awesome place to have a dinner party. Like Thanksgiving there would be.
It really is. It is a good place to have a dinner party, actually.
I'm thinking I'm going to book it
what would
for
be
my
on your dream
family's
menu? Toombs, what would be on your dream menu there? If you were having to pick your dinner party and you were making the menu.
Like something exotic, right? Like, I don't know, monkey brains or
fancy feast.
Oh, leave my cats alone. I have a couple dogs and horses as well, guys. It's not just cats around here.
But she has 74 cats.
We have 11. It's okay.
It's odd how my cats are just every day. There's like more.
I know that feeling.
But they're not really. They're just the same amount every day.
So we do have John. We do have John over here. Unfortunately, he is in a sick household. He said and wasn't able to join you guys, but he is piping in there from his home. How you doing tonight, John? What's your experience? You've been there before. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, I've been up there a few times. The first time we went up there just to kind of meet Rick and everything, we got to sit in on. There was a coven having an herbal class. They were teaching about different herbs and flowers and things you could find in nature, and some interesting uses for them. Always making sure that you ask permission to pick. And like Doug said, it's just if you go online and you get on YouTube and you look up Gura Shrine Bristol, you're going to find a lot of videos that have been exaggerated. And I mean, it's got its creepy moments, but Doug and I have only ever felt kind of a calm presence there. It's not ever been like, we've never been scared, or I've never felt fearful or really uneasy either. It's always been very, nice there. You can definitely feel like an energy in the place. I really like the bamboo forest. I think that was the only time I kind of felt a little strange, but walking through the bamboo forest could have just given me a good little sense of vertigo or something, optical illusion. I don't know, but it's very nice out there. I think it's but the one time that Doug was talking about, we were the only people at the location. We were actually sitting around the dragon table, and it's kind of in the area between where Josh and Christy and Doug is, but in the house. I heard somebody walking around, but there wasn't anybody else there. Rick was down there with us, and we heard somebody say something in that grotto room or the cave room. That was it. That was very interesting.
I think whenever we were leaving, I said, call me crazy, but did you hear that? And John said, yeah. And I said, well, shit. It's it definitely that was probably the first time we had really had something where it was very audible, and to have that actually repeated again last month with Chasing Ravens, I thought that was pretty incredible too.
Yeah, and that table that they're sitting around is really. I could sit and talk to Rick and listen to Rick talk about it for hours, because Rick, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it built in 7 layers?
14.
14. Okay, double. but it was just built layer by layer, and you had help, correct? Like,
Yeah, exactly. And not to take away the table itself, there has been a group of paranormal researchers that have been coming here since 2005 or 6. And these were from different teams that would visit. And then if there were 5 people on the team, every now and then out of the third or fourth team, one individual would come back and say, I really want to study this place to understand the Euro. You know, what I would say, what's the secrets behind? And so this team kind of formed together, not as a paranormal team, but as paranormal researchers. And until just very recently, been there for, some of them been there 10, 15 years, some of the elders. But anyway, the table we were using went out, so we decided to build a table. And the dragon table that they're talking about was built on site. And I guess the quickest way to drop the, what's behind the curtain is that of all the people that were here, the different groups, each one of them wanted to have some input into the table. So the table is decisively dark as far as it was built to channel portals or what have you. At the time it was built, which was probably not quite 10 years ago, but every urban legend that we could find, and not we, I mean collectively as everybody involved, every urban legend that we could find that said you never, ever, ever do this or you'll summon a demon, which is using the zeitgeist of terms, is built into that table. The table itself weighs 6,325 pounds, give or take a few. It weighs more than 2 cars. It's 12 feet by 6 feet wide. And how the layers happened is the frame to hold this, because I had an engineer that helped me build it, a chemist, a very smart man, and the legs, table, and frame, all made of wood, it by itself weighed 1,200 pounds. So when the table was empty, to explain the layers, is we had covens here, we had Nordics, we had Druids, all not coming at the same time, that would visit the shrine once a month, once every 2 months, once a week, just depend on the group. The first ones that wanted to have something done were the coven, the witches' coven, not Wiccans as such, but witches. And they said, please paint this color. And then they went in and they drew sigils, and they glued down crystals and different stones and wands and aphobes, and they filled up this 12 by 6 table on the bottom layer with all of their witch practitioner craft work. And then when they were done with it, then we poured a layer of dragoncrete, which is a proprietary type of concrete that this engineer has the patent for. We poured it in until it was covered, and then the next group come in, like the Druids, and they would put their stuff down, and then we would fill it up. So there's quite a few layers, and you say, wait, 14, it would be too thick. There's 6 canisters under the table. We ran out of table before we ran out of groups that wanted to put something into it. So when you look at that table, there is Celtic swords, there's knives, there's wands, there's crystals, there's rocks, there's sigils, there's Ouija boards, all kind of stuff is built into that table. They're showing you some of it kind of right now. And it literally is, well, like I say, it weighs more than 2 cars. So all of the stuff built into that was for a purpose, and it's one of a kind, obviously. It was built on site in there, can never be removed. It won't go out a door if you could lift 5,000 pound table. So, or 6,000 pound. So yeah, that is the table, and you're seeing parts of it there. And it has incorporated a lot of different modalities, as some people would say. There's probably at least 14 different crafts. Now, maybe not 14, but probably about 14 different crafts built into that table.
So we do have a question here. Good to see you, Missy. Hope you're doing well tonight. She says, how do you move the table?
It can't be moved. Like I say, it weighs 6,000 pounds. It was brought in at the legs for the table, which is as big as a tree trunk in the center. I mean, it's just massive. Weighed 1,200 pounds. So once it was bolted down and built together, before we started pouring the, almost 5,000 pounds of Dragonstone into it. It'll never be moved. It can't be moved. Can't even be lifted. How they actually weighed it was they brought in two truck things like they use on a interstate to raise up the back end of a tractor trailer, two little pads, and jack it up to estimate the weight. That's how they actually weighed the table.
So let me ask you this. So this is something I was kind of curious about. So I did do a little research, watch some YouTube videos, and it seems like, you try to run a pretty peaceful place there and have, make everybody feel welcome, and, that's super cool. How do you feel about some of these people who have gone, some of these videos coming up from the Scare Network and things like that? It almost seems like talking to you and watching what they are presenting are like two totally different things. Does my question make sense? Like how do you balance in your mind what they're doing with what you're trying to give?
I guess the easiest way to explain that is Jura. What they're seeing is one thing, and what's secret is secret. So yes, I'm many different things. I lean more towards the darker crafts, and so obviously I'm not a bad person in that respect, but I can assure you that most of the crafts that are practiced here are not what you would find in a normal paranormal place at all. So yeah, so when you see people look and you say I'm this, you're seeing the omote, and then the Euro side of me would be a balance. So I am balanced. I'm light, dark. I would say, and I was thinking about this before this conversation. If you was to take a piece of notebook paper and you drew a line directly horizontally across the middle and divided it in two places, and then you divided the other two pieces up and down, so where you have three lines through it, so you have 4 equal sections on this piece of paper. And you would say, using an Asian, and this is using an Asian description, if good would be at the top and it would be pure light, and bad would be at the bottom, which would be pure black. If you was in the middle, directly in the middle, then you would be balanced, and it would be somewhat in the gray. So you can imagine the top fourth of the page would be pretty much white, the bottom part of the page would be pretty much black, and then the middle part would fade from a light to a darker gray. The practicing that happens here pretty much on the regular would be at the third line. In other words, not dark, terrible magic, but the practitioners that come here would be on that third line. Definitely in the dark, definitely darker. We have teams come here that are light workers. Everything for them is totally good. They would be on the opposite end of that page, and they practice here just as well. But when people look at me and they start talking, it's like Doug and a few of them go, I'm not a unicorn and rainbow kind of guy. You can ask me any questions you want as far as the crafts or what have you, but I definitely lean towards the darker crafts and have since I was 14.
I got you. I do have to, lightheartedly laugh at this. Crentine, good to see you, says, I'd go, but if I get turned into a newt, TF is not my friend anymore. Shout out to you there, Crentine. Pretty funny comment. But I got better. And no, James Lynch, we are not playing trivia tonight. Sunday night, though. Sunday night, we will have trivia for you. Gunners, you got any questions? You've been oddly silent up there.
So you may have answered this and I just zoned out or who knows what, but how did the community react to you having, this, all of this? How did you get a reaction from the community or?
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh yes.
and see, not so much from myself personally, because I'm somewhat of a hermit. I stay here, and there was one time when I didn't leave the place more than 24 hours for 14 years. I'm retired. I have the ability to stay home, and I just practice the craft here, take care of the shrine. There's a reason for that. But yeah, the covens, when they started coming here, they're a bit more visual, or say out there, and then what I call, and this is in no way degrading to anybody who does it, but the TikTok witches, the ones that are always posting something. Mm-hmm. Once they started doing that, then local people started picking up. To be totally honest, the local Pizza Huts, and things will not deliver to the shrine. They just won't. They just won't. They just came in this past month. I have several buildings on here, and there were 3 electric meters. And this is totally being truthful, is every other month I would have a new meter reader come in because of the way the locations of the meters are, because everything here is blocked off with large fences and what have you for privacy. I would have to walk them around. And, you know, when you take somebody who comes in, and this is Appalachia, if I had a baseball arm, I could probably throw a baseball and hit 5 churches from where my place sits. Literally, they're all around. This is the Bible Belt. But this is also the place, so in this part of town, not so much now, but for at least around 2008 to about 2013, anything that was mentioned in this part of the state about witchcraft, and that would be all the way from, we'll say, Richmond, Virginia to Knoxville, Tennessee, which is a pretty good swath, this was the place. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people who know about it, who I would say 90% of absolutely think this is the most horrible place in the world. But it's, you know, that's what, if you're going to be obvious and out there, and it didn't used to happen until YouTube happened. You know, I let people come in, they started posting things, and that was probably around 2013. It's the earliest that stuff started going out, and then that's when everybody found out about it. So I don't have a lot of people come around, but they put in meters, like I say, to go back to electric last month, that can all be read from the, you know, electric meters or something report. So nobody has to come on the property to actually read the movie thing. And, you know, there's a lot of people in defense of the shrine. People auto-select the sales when they come here. Obviously, there's people who will see this, see me, watch a video and go, this place is absolutely not something I'd be interested in. It's that pentagram on the floor in an old house in the woods. You know, they just automatically go, this place ain't for me, and that's absolutely fine. You know, I don't think I'm supposed to be with anybody else. But basically the reason this became a place of such curiosity and a home is all of the people who were marginalized because of their crafts, their practice, because this is the Bible Belt. And Appalachian witchcraft here, granny witches, kitchen witches, all the kinds of stuff that's been in Appalachian history forever, which is how my mother and grandmother got into that. They can come here and practice without anybody telling them they can't come. And we have weddings here with pagans, witches, Nordics that can't rent a place around here that will allow them to come in and have a wedding. So we'll let them come here and do it here. So yes, we're the place. I'm not trying to put anything in anybody's mind. I believe everybody should have the religion and live it, you know, the way they want, obviously. But yeah, this is the place. So when people look at it, oh yeah. And you know, we'll have an event here. The Wendibros was here. We had a witches retreat here. I don't know how long ago it was, maybe a month ago or something. And they came from LA, Florida, Chicago, Pennsylvania, flew in everywhere to have this witches convention. And yeah, people, they would walk into a local, you know, like a dollar store or a place, and they would have on a t-shirt or something that in LA would not be out of place. But you walk into Bristol, Tennessee in the store, and they say, I'm from, and how that happened is, you know, somebody would walk in and say, where are you from? They say, well, I'm from LA. I'm here at the Witches Convention. It doesn't take about 15 minutes for that to get through the neighborhood. Yes.
So have you had any, have you had issues? I mean, have you ever had to deal with, you know, out of control stuff, people, you know, like the Frankenstein, you know, people with pitchforks coming down your driveway or anything like that? Is, you know, have you had to deal with that?
In a well, if you pull up to the front of the place, there's not a big sign that says you're a shrine, you know, home of dark practices. There's not anything like that going on. Most people would walk up to the place and, you know, there's big giant food dogs and a few things, would probably think it's a Benihana's or a Chinese restaurant or something. You know, they just wouldn't know.
I'll have the number 3 with
yeah, and there was one of the jokes is we wanted to find us an old one of the things you order off and put it out there just to see who would ring the bell. But basically, there was initially a little bit of something, but most people who are really into the religion, they're not going to come up and say, they're not going to be confrontational, because that would just be useless. It would do. I'm not saying they're afraid of the place or something. They just choose not to engage. And we don't do the same thing with everybody else. We don't, make a spectacle out of ourselves trying to show up in public or something. Does that make sense? So all in all, yes, I've had people who have visited, and want to talk about religion. And I am quite willing to sit down with anybody and discuss religion of any type. It's kind of a passion of mine. But a funny thing happens when you walk in somebody that might be, visiting from a church and are visiting for whatever reason, and you walk them in and you sit them down at that dragon table, they immediately go, okay, I'm not in Kansas anymore. And I would say the next Wednesday, oh yes. And before I would try to keep them at the gate, but there for a little bit of while, I would get the pamphlets in the door, from the different churches. They would stick them in the gate because they couldn't get in. And so I started walking a few of them in and sitting them down at the table and say, and they're looking around, and it'd take them about 13 seconds to go, yeah, this is not where I want to be. You're welcome to church, kind of, but don't come, kind of thing. And
I'm getting me one of those tables now. 'Cause I'm tired of pamphlets and stuck in my door.
Yeah, so
I figured they would be building like bicycle ramps to jump over with or something like that.
Well, I've had a few drone experiences here where drones come over and we'll fly around and look, but most everything is non-obvious from the outside. But once again, now with all of the YouTube and Facebook posts of people that have been here to the shrine with their interpretation of what the shrine is for them, and I never tell someone they can't say, you can't say this about the shrine. They can say exactly what their experience is, however they are, like it, dislike it, think it's good, think it's bad, think it's evil, demonic, whatever they choose. It would be wrong to try to tell somebody what to say. And so when people look at the 150, 200 YouTube videos that's out there about the place, the ones that want to see the darker sides will find those videos, and the ones that want to see the lighter sides with the Wiccans will find those. But yeah, we definitely don't get invited around to the tent revivals here. No.
I was going to tell you not to feel bad about the electric company not coming up to your door. I have a murder goose, like goose.
Of course you do.
They won't come in my yard, and no one will deliver here either. The Amazon guy will honk at the end of my driveway and leave the box because, yeah, my goose has tried to commit homicide.
We don't have a murder goose, but I'm pretty sure they think we have a walking demon. No, my dog would probably love it, play around with it. But,
my dogs I have 3 dogs. They're afraid of it. Like,
if they make it to the door, or 75 cats will take them out.
Now I have 75 cats.
Yeah, now we're up to 75. It's kind of like
God.
that $72,000 hot dog LW made me buy at the Houston Astros game. Lizzie Pop, probably has the question of the night. She says, "How do we get invited to the Halloween party?"
No doubt.
Contact Doug. Parties here can be a bit unique. They're exceptional. I will make a joke, but it's not really a joke. Now, in the cave, there are wet areas. There's a hot tub, Japanese onsen type hot tub, and another area that only has a waterfall in it, a few things that's being used for a different source right now. And as a joke, but not a joke, we may have 20 or 30 people here, and then inevitably, not every time, but on occasion, somebody will come around and say, Rick, I'd say somebody has jumped naked in the hot tub. Then we're all adults. And I can promise you, if there's 30 people here and you go around and say you need to get out of the hot tub because, there's alcohol involved, and people, you don't want them in there cooking and passing out or something. It is an adult party, it's a epic party. But I can promise you every time that if there's 30 people here, the 2 people that you absolutely would never want to see naked in the hot tub will be the 2 people that'll be in the hot tub. Every time.
I like how Nathan pops up on camera.
All right, we got Nathan back. He's coming up here with his coconuts. So
Well, talking about naked people in a hot tub. How can I miss that?
He's like, what?
I'm the fat guy at the end of the party you don't want in there. Yeah.
I'll wait.
Didn't bring my suit, had my thong on, and going in.
You don't need it though. You don't even need the thong, Nathan.
Wait, let me see if I can find Nathan's clip here. I think we might have this. Here we go, Nathan. Going that one. Here we go. Nathan's ready to jump right in that hot tub with every one of you. Here he comes.
Right. There's coconuts.
You speak about that. It's like any of those things that are always like exhibitionists and things like that. It's always the people that shouldn't be. Like,
absolutely.
You go to like Oliver. You mentioned Miami earlier. I'm from Miami. Like you mentioned like Oliver Beach and things like that. It's like, oh, it's a nude beach. Let's go check this out. And you walk there and you go, holy cow, these people should put some clothes on. Yeah, it's not exactly what you want to see.
But to answer the person's question, the Halloween parties are here. Doug, and once again, he's not Doug and the Wendibros aren't they're not the gatekeeper as such, but you can contact him and he can probably let you know. They'll be invited this year, of course, and hopefully they won't see something that's some of those visits when you go around into the cave. Now Doug is sitting there. If he to his right is, you can see this stuff. That's where the hot tub is. It's pretty good size. You can put like 4 or 5 people in it, no problem. And that's where the hot tub is. It goes down into the ground. But
so it's a 1-man 4-woman hot tub.
Depends on how you want to put your ratio together.
We're supposed to be all night.
Isn't that the Playboy room?
Well, that was the whole idea. Like I said, you would think that the Playmates would be all in there, but that never worked out. And
maybe some ghost of Playmates long since passed.
Oh, there's see, now you're starting to get into the Euro part again. Yes, there are things that go on there all the time with people. They're just not alive. So
I was wondering because you said there's only one other grotto that we know of in the U.S. I'm wondering if if they take the wrong turn down that little spiritual highway and end up at your grotto.
Okay, there are real caves that are being used by craftsmen that practice the occult. And what I mean by the occult is anything that is not Abrahamic is pretty much what's considered nowadays to be occult. It can be Wiccans, Druids, whatever. If it's not Judaism, Christianity, or Muslim, one of the Abrahamic religions, then it's considered to be occult. But there are locations that I'm aware of, have been invited to some of them, or most of them, that have crafts that have been done in it for decades and decades. Mine is a man-made cave for purpose for ritual and parties. There is an actual cave that's under the property here, but there's no way to get to it. It caved in. So yeah. So there are, when you say there's not any practices going on in cave, there absolutely are.
Well, I mean more like, like the Playboy grotto.
Oh yeah. Well, and depending on what you dive into there's some stuff. If you look at the old videos, not that I would look at the old videos.
Needs a lot of chlorine. Like a lot of.
Oh, absolutely. But there's some craft. How would I say? There have been brought up to me craft services that were done there as well. Now I don't get sued by Playboy, but there's some unique stuff that happened in that place that I wouldn't say.
I'm sure.
Yeah. There's some craft people in there. Oh yeah.
You wouldn't shock me by telling me anything that I'd be like, yep, yeah, I see that. But man, if I had I might have to make me a cave for my backyard.
Pretty awesome.
I don't want anybody coming around anyway, so that'd be a good excuse to frighten all the Dutch Reform away from here and keep the Mormons away too, since they like to leave me pamphlets all the time.
Where's the crazy cat lady? She lives in the cave back there.
Think 59 cats would scare people off, but no. So gotta try something else. I'm gonna build me a cave. That's it.
I found a way. I think I told you all this before, but when the JWs come to my house all the time, and they always come and they knock, and it was always this guy and this girl. And they would come, I guess a married couple, they're wearing rings, and they just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And, I'm secure in my religion. That's why I don't mind having these conversations with people. You know what I mean? Like and I don't push mine on anybody neither. But I figured out the best way. I just started hitting on his wife every time they came. And, It actually, they drive past my house now. They will not stop. They will not come in because I'm like, so what you doing there, girl? And started doing that kind of stuff. And oh my God, you could see this guy's face getting so red. It really works. It really works. They will not come back, I promise you.
All right, I'll hit on the lady the next time.
Yeah. No, you just hit on the guy, and then she's going to get mad.
Oh.
See? Yeah, that's how that works. He might actually be into that. You don't know. So you might get yourself in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, actually, come to think, since they're Mormons, he might be looking for a sister wife. And
exactly. I mean, they always say that, like, oh, 2 wives would be great. No, they would gang up against you.
No, you don't want me. You don't want me.
You would have to have 3. You would have to have 3 at that point, because then 2 of them are going to gang up against the other one. So there would be no, there's no solving this conundrum.
Yeah, when you have a ginger, 1 is enough. So, yeah.
Hey, when you have those Jehovah's Witnesses come over, just have your ring camera on, please. I would like to see that conversation.
Well,
It goes really well, Nathan. I'm telling you, it goes really well.
I know. That's why I want to see it.
I'm trying to get my murder goose on the blink camera so that when he chases the Amazon driver again, I missed it, but my kid's like, she chased the Amazon driver, ran down the driveway towards his truck, and I'm like, well, he needs some exercise, I think. So.
I got a question for you. Do you have any mirrors over there in that little spa room, where they can fog up? You get messages or something, somebody leaves something behind?
I see one right behind.
Well, from let's see, in the room I'm now, I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not the small ones. Mirrors and craftwork. Mirrors are a thing. They are really, really a thing. There are mirrors now, not so much in the cave, but everywhere else around. Directly over the dragon table is a mirror tapered a certain way so that when you look into it, you can see behind you and above. The old premise of and once again, everything here is Jura. You see it, but what is the meaning? Everybody will recognize, well, probably maybe not everybody, but the term that's gone as above, so below, as within, so without, which follows many crafts. There's mirrors everywhere here, and they are used exclusively as invitations, as portals. Yes, so they're everywhere.
So that's a question. So I forget the word for it right now, and I think maybe Doug, you can explain this. So you had made some recent videos. What is this thing about the portal? What is it? What do you call it, Doug? You made some videos about it. What is it called?
The portals?
Not the portal, abyss. But when I say portal, I'm using that loosely. I don't know exactly what I'm speaking of, but Toombs, maybe you know what I'm talking about. The vortex, the something. You made
the
videos
portals, the different portals. I think, right?
Thank you. The abyss.
The abyss.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I misspoke with the portal thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. I can't think. That's what I'm talking about. So, Doug, tell me about that.
Yeah, so Case File Abyss, we actually, everybody that you see here has been a part of Case File Abyss. We started that, and it's really kind of, I wouldn't say out of our norm, it's almost kind of a back to roots for us, where we're having genuine conversations with people. And a lot of that has to do with indoctrination, religious psychosis, the state of the world right now, what we're dealing with. And as you've kind of heard here tonight between Rick and I, Rick and I have a lot in common, but also, I would say I'm more on the light side, Rick's on more the dark side. But what we're trying to say is that no matter what differing beliefs that you have, that there is something going on that we need to really have a genuine conversation. Genuine conversation will fix, we believe, a lot of the problems that we see out there too. There's a lot of different ideologies out there, and what we find is that at the core of it, we're not so different. So we're literally going into what we would consider the abyss, which would be, decisively dark stuff, and trying to bring light to a lot of that too. There is a little bit of a supernatural aspect on it. If you've watched the episodes, Rick does talk about NDEs, and then in future episodes, you'll probably hear me talking a little bit about my experience with NDEs. And for anybody listening, that would be a near-death experience. Just be in the vein of transparency, I had a stroke at age 30, and whenever I had that stroke, everything went very white. I felt like I was lifting, and I came crashing back down, and I came back very different, and things just seemed very different. I had a very different perspective of the world in there too. I'm not going to speak for Rick on this, but as the series goes on, which the new episode will be out this Sunday, that will be episode 3. You'll start hearing Rick talk a lot about sky people, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rick, the Tingri, is that correct?
Tingriism, yes, Tingri.
Yeah, so Tingri, and across the board, what you'll hear too is Josh and Christy really talk about being raised Southern Baptists and what goes into that, and I really, I would say I greatly admire Christy's portion in that too, because and no offense to her, as shy as she is, she's very passionate about what goes into that, and gives such clear and concise dialogue about what she was raised about too, and I think Tombstone's touched on it as well with Josh, and how she related to a lot of those situations as well. So this is really a more intimate portrait into our everyday lives and what we've been through, and it goes into trauma, it goes into things like abuse, it goes into spirituality, it goes into dark forces that could be trying to edge this stuff on, and trying to make certain things happen a little bit sooner than what we would anticipate. And if you look at the world around us right now, we have a lot of doom and gloom news, and it's usually 24/7. You cannot escape it. You cannot get away from it. And ironically, during my portion of it, I tell people to turn off the TV and turn off social media, but yet here I am on social media. But we have to start spreading better messages, I believe, as well, too. But everybody here has done such an amazing job on this series, and so much so, and we've gotten such positive feedback from it. And what we found is, whenever we released it, we were terrified that people would be angry at us, but our goal was to get people angry with us and see that we really don't have any kind of real substantial differences, and that rather than it's you versus I, it should be us versus them.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, Doug, you got a good point there. Social media is, everybody uses it differently. There's smart ways to use it, and there's bad ways to use it. Most people are all about look at me, look at me, look at me, not anything of actual substance. They're not putting out anything. They're not having conversations. They're not being a part of something. It's basically clickbait. That's why I love having things like this, where we come on here on Friday night and everybody learns something. Like, you don't come on here and leave without learning something or some kind of substance to what we're doing, and I like that. I did notice, Josh, you got a question or something you wanted to say about. Take it away, sir.
Yes. I don't want to give away too much because it will be in the episodes. But going back to what Rick was saying about like the occult and stuff going on around here, it does happen. But if you're any other religion, that's basically not Christian, like in this area, then you're just, can't think of the right word to say, but
essentially less than.
Yeah, basically.
I get that.
So what Doug was saying, he thinks, or not thinks, but Rick is dark side, Doug is light side. I feel like I'm in the middle, because what I do, it's kind of a mixture between, I want to say more Catholicism versus Christianity, if that makes sense. and paganism, not really like Wiccan. But like Tombstone was saying, like, manifesting and, stuff like that. But it's been kind of hard for me because, like, I was raised Southern Baptist, and, that's hellfire, brimstone, and, all that. So, like, I kind of found my peace as an adult, kind of blending, like, the Catholicism and paganism together as one. And, a lot of people don't talk about that. A term that gets thrown around for people like that is called a Christian witch, which I'm not a fan of that term. I like to say I'm Christo-pagan, for lack of a better term, because, like, I can't think of anything else to say. But I think more people should embrace the idea of Christ consciousness. Then the world will be a better place.
Well, I got a question for Rick. Did you sneak in Sky People and we totally looked over it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Nathan, because I actually meant to bring that back up and I'd forgotten. So, proceed. I want to hear about this.
Okay. I'm assuming, I'm still on the mic here. I had an experience back in 1996. Now, I'll have to say that I grew up in my mother back in the 40s and 50s was a member of the Golden Dawn, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, probably leaned more towards the Lima, maybe the OTO. I'm not speaking for them. So I grew up with sigils meetings my entire life since I was an infant. So anything other than the normal zeitgeist of Christianity, which is what's in the area, if you think it's like quiet now in the 2020s, back in the 1950s, it was a total different way of getting around. And to make a thing about that, see, the craft has been going on here, and it's still going on everywhere. And I'm kind of getting sidetracked off of the question. The Sky People, anyway, in 1996, I had an event where I've never seen an alien. I've never seen a spaceship. But I think I was in an accident and was unalived and was immediately in a different place, a couple blocks from where it was, in a different way. And when I returned to my life, married life, kids, what have you, things were different, much like the Mandela effect. So I had spent 90, and at this point in time, I was still in law enforcement and a few things working for agencies that you could not make any kind of a disclosure about anything like that, much like being anything alternate back then. You just couldn't mention it or you wouldn't have a job. So the Sky People, there's two things in Japan. One's called Tengu and the other is Tengri. Tengu are earthbound entities, spirits, what have you, and Tengri are sky beings. Every culture has it. Whether you're Native American, whether you're Aztec or Celts or whatever, there's always reference to something to the Sky People, however that may be, and each person will make that decision as to what they think that should be. I have never practiced. I have been exposed to one instance, which I think I've come to find out with other people might be like quantum immortality, an entire show just on that, explains a lot of things. But essentially what happened, to answer your question there, is, and once again, I'm like a dog with a bone, I go 1,000 ways. There was a TV show that came here last year. It's out on Tubi now, the thing. And the individual, well, it's obvious, like I say, her name's Cindy Kaza, came in here, and she's a psychic medium. Well, the first thing she does is she steps into the middle of the shrine, and she goes, and it's on the TV show, I immediately feel aliens. And I'm going, okay, here we go. And I had to actually take a Facebook page for the shrine down, because once people started, if the paranormal started talking like aliens were coming here, I was literally swamped with people wanting to come here and meet. Before, as a joke, they'd come here to meet Casper. On the other hand, I guess they came here to meet Alf or something, and a space being. I had to take that down. So I'm a dark practitioner, yes. If you want to take anything about earthbound kind of stuff, yeah, I'm your guy. I can take you as dark as you want to see, up and until giving you a attachment if you want. The sky people, not so much. And I pay my respects to the Tingri, and that's a Buddhist sect. Tingriism is a Buddhist sect. I am not a member of that. But, like I say, it's like going to a church and not joining the church. I guess you could still say about the same. But, yeah, that's a new thing going on. I just had a team here, and I'll just call them the Echoes team that was here last week, as a matter of fact. Last week they flew in. Echoes team is a extraterrestrial investigation team. Very professional, very well known to themselves. They're not, you'll never find anything, I don't think, with them on social media because they're not in that realm. And they came in and did a 3-day investigation here that we're still waiting to see what the results will be. If you believe in spirits of any type, maybe you believe in the alien connection or sky people. So that's where that came from. Is there stuff here that happens according to that? Depends on who you ask. If a medium comes here and they start talking to somebody, they may be talking to spirit. Might be your grandmother, probably not. It's something else. If a parapsychologist comes here, they'll be having a conversation and it'll be with an alien. Who's to determine which is correct? If you're going to say a person, I actually believe that this person is talking to a spirit, then how could you not say, I believe this same person is not talking to an extraterrestrial? It's the same. It's merely a title. It is the exact same thing. Just one's local, one's not. So that's what's going on here now. And it's becoming a bit more. Doug and them took me to UFO Appalachian something, went with John. And,
Appalachia.
yeah, I went up there. And I would say that there are probably more people leaning towards the Tingri form of practice than the Tengu or the earthbound practice now. And they're getting away with it pretty good. So, you got the disclosure stuff and all that going on with aliens, which I don't look into any of that. I can assure you if a spaceship shows up here and opens the door and says, go for a ride, I'm not going. I'm not going to be a chia pet for somebody, no. But, yeah, no. But, no, talk to darkness and cryptids and that around here. Yeah, I'll talk to that. We'll work that out. So to answer your question, if there's something else, then I'll go into. But yeah, there's a lot of that going on now with teams coming here. They're all by invitation, or they know somebody. So if you're a, extraterrestrial team and want to investigate the place, we're not like what's that place that all the people go to, the island or something, the ranch or something. Everybody goes and talks to aliens.
Skywalker?
Skinwalker, yes.
Or Skinwalkers,
yeah.
are Sky.
Yeah,
sorry, I was thinking Sky
Skinwalkers.
people.
Skinwalkers.
Skinwalker, yeah. I'm not claiming to be anything like that, but there does seem to be, and that's just because it's Appalachian, a few things here. All of that's going on, and that is a new experience that's been here less than a year, thanks to Cindy Kaza walking in and going, I feel aliens, and then putting it on TV. Damn. So now I got to explain that. So I haven't had anybody show up yet with antlers like, my favorite Martian. You'd have to be really old to understand that show. But
no, my mom made me watch that show. So yeah.
There you go.
So yes, I think Little Miss Red Velvet's asking, so how much does it cost? Like if somebody was going to visit your place and stuff like that, how does this work?
I'm a private location, so I don't have the setup to charge and do this. Plus, by remaining, we tried that for a little while and it just got, do
you have cabins people can stay at and stuff like that?
Most people are ready to leave out of here pretty much after it gets dark a little bit. Except some of the hardcore. Once it gets real dark and stuff starts banging and cracking and moving, most people are pretty much ready to get out of here by 1 or 2 o'clock and go, and then they go to their hotel and never come back, literally. But pretty much, I like for people that come here, if you want to visit the place, there's no fee. No, we don't charge. We're not that. This isn't a business. This is a working, everyday, like I said before, the place was. So if you want to go visit a conjuring house or something, or a museum, and they'll charge you to come in and say, here's what things were. This is an actual active running shrine, coven, practicing druid. I mean, pretty much everything going on here at some point in time, not continuously. So no, if you're interested in coming here and seeing, it's like Doug and them talk about. A lot of people come here and say, I feel really, really comfortable here. And there's just as many people who actually think they can come here do not have as good an experience. This is not a Zen meditation place. There's a lot of people who come here who have less than favorable conditions due to whatever they're thinking. And then, of course, there's the 99% of the people who would never come here because they would never walk through the gate because they looked and saw what it is. So the place as it is, if I had my best dream or best wish, is that it is a place where people who have been marginalized because of their beliefs can come and talk to other people who will not judge them for their beliefs. And as long as everybody can get together and not say, if you don't believe what I believe, then I'm going to punch you in the nose, which is, a little bit much, then they're kind of welcome here. So this individual, if you want to visit the place, come around, call Doug and them. They pretty much gatekeepers. And I don't want to put a lot of stuff if Doug starts getting many calls. I discussed this with him. I said, if you don't want to do that, he's one of the few, same way with Audra and Aaron. And if you look up stuff, you'll find them. They have the ability to make a phone call and contact me and get you here. We're not trying to keep people away. It's just you have to understand that given what goes on here, you just can't open the doors up for everybody because it would become unbearable.
Well, Rick, don't worry about Doug with getting phone calls, because I actually write his phone number above every truck stop urinal I stop at. So
Okay.
He definitely gets some fun calls, I would guarantee.
Yeah, it's pretty flirtatious.
I mean, that's how I first met him. So
yeah, that's how
exactly. You can take me for Josh, Doug.
Yeah,
you can take me for Josh. But so Rick, is there lodging there for people, or is that just like totally out of the question? Like, say people traveled there and they wanted to stay the night, is there lodging available to people?
There hasn't been. I say, I live here, and I live in a very small apartment type place upstairs. I live here all the time, and the rest of it is literally full of relics, craft practice areas, what have you, inside and out. So there's nowhere to stay. Most people stay in a hotel close by or something. This is Tennessee, so it's not, like you're going to New York and paying those big prices. Most people will stay a night. Sometimes they'll fly in and go and stay 2 or 3 nights. The Witches Convention that was here last time was with the Spooky Sisterhood. You can look them up. They can find you a way to get here, I guess. They're everywhere. But I think that was what was that, Doug? 3 days, 4 days, 3 days?
It was 3 days. I would say, like, for anybody that were to come and visit here, the Pinnacle, the hotel surrounding that over in Bristol would probably be your best bet.
Yeah, it's about a mile or 2 from there. We're actually right in the middle of the place. It's not difficult to find. I don't give out my address because then everybody starts driving up, and I get enough of that anyway. They can't get in. There's 8-foot fence around everywhere with a big giant red Tory gate and, big gates in the front. If you look at anything, you'll see the pictures of it. But, I have an older dog. She's 13 and I'm old, and we sit around. So if somebody just drives by and starts knocking on the door, makes her bark and she runs, and it kind of goes from there. But most everybody, if you have a true intent to come here now if it's a curiosity and you're insincere in your reason to get here, then obviously don't come. Why would you do that? But if you have and this goes out to anyone, and if, they're curious about finding out what actually goes on here. I'm not trying to recruit anybody. I recently had a kind of a house cleaning here not too long ago. What I found out is You can have druids here, you can have necromancers here, you can have everybody here, you can have Nordics. You can't really put them all together for a long period of time, because after a year or two, they will start to say, well, we do it this way, and they'll start to, you can't even have several covens here at one time. And that's unfortunate. In a perfect world, everybody can get together. So now the covens who come here come individually, and there's 2 or 3 covens that are going to come here. Now, like the witches thing, that was a 3-day thing. But there were some of them coming here that have been here for 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years at the same time, and it was just getting not fun. So now they have to come separate. So if you're interested in coming in, got a group. Paranormal, we still do a little bit of that. That's, most people come in, want to do and, run the things, and you'll find there's no guarantee. You might come in here one day and it'd be crickets, absolutely nothing. The next day they can come here and total different, depending on what you, this is a place you got to ask what you want.
Well, Miss Scarlett says she's totally there for the hot tub party. So,
yeah, I keep getting a lot of comments about Doug in the hot tub, so I think everyone needs a cold shower.
Remember the Eddie Murphy skit where they did where he was James Brown with the old Saturday Night Live, and he was like, "Too hot in the hot tub, turn it down some."
Okay, well, I'll give you a rundown quite quick of now. This is by no means, because once again I go back to the idea of the obvious, and then the jura, the secret. In paganism, and I'm not speaking for everybody or what have you, there are basically 4 levels of magic. Magic is real. You can say this is true, not it is. The first level of magic, the beginners or not ever, is ritual magic, which is where you ritualistically do something, whatever that may be, depending on your craft. The next level of magic, and this isn't universal, but all the players out there who are players, craftsmen, will understand this. The next one is what we call, on my end, gluttony magic, which means you do ritual, and then whether that be with an anaphema or an altar or a day or something. Then gluttony magic means you introduce after the ritual some type of food, drink, sometimes would eat stuff that would give you hallucinogenics, what have you, and you go into that state. Like any pagan ritual that you will see on any Nordic, what have you, you'll see that. So the first one is ritual. Second one is gluttony. The third level of magic, as it goes up one more, is literally sex magic, which is the Crowley thing. Now, when everybody says that, they immediately assume that there's like a Roman orgy going on kind of thing. That's not the case. In the Appalachian, when people get married, they lay a broom down, and the bride and the groom jump over a broom. It's a fertility thing that is
boring as hell compared to what I thought it was going to be.
I'm not saying that. Now. I'm not saying it's not that. There's that cave. I'm just saying that's what everybody immediately goes to, And then the last ritual, the most powerful thing, is of course blood magic, and that can be anything from, if you take any, let's say a Nordic ritual that you look any kind of history up, is people would show up in an area, they would send representatives, they would do a ritual. Then they would eat and drink, and then there would be consummation of whatever to serve whatever their deities were, and then at the end there would be sacrifice, animal something, and then TV people. And so that's the 4 levels of magic. So when you're sitting here talking about what happens here, pretty much you can use your imagination, but it's not like Roman orgy kind of stuff everybody wants. So the parties.
Sorry, gutters.
No. If there was a party there, then that would be separate from most everybody else, because there might actually be somebody that would be offended if something like that was going on. But
so nobody's going to be, fanning me and feeding me grapes. Is this what you're telling me?
Oh no, anything can be arranged. Depends on the group.
He says everything can be arranged. No. I like it.
There we go.
I like it.
No, we're assuming everything is like I'm old, so I just stay outside and keep my dog petted. But yeah, there's rituals that happen here. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Does anybody have any, like Doug, you got any last words? We always try to keep these to around 2 hours. Yeah, I'd like to hear, John. I haven't heard a lot from you. I mean, anything you want to add to this conversation? I don't even think Christy. I mean, you got anything? Any guys want to talk?
Sounds like we're getting in the hot tub, Doug.
I know it. That's what it sounds like. I think we need to have a Wendibros hot tub episode, but it's yeah. The one thing and we've heard this a lot. We've talked about the intention of the place. We've talked about seeing a lot of folks come in here and getting scared and running around. And I'll say, whenever I first called Rick and people say, "Well, how did you find this place?" I said, "Well, I heard about it and I called Rick and we talked for about 2 hours and then we showed up to like John said, to an herbal class." The thing is about this place, and we talked a lot about it in our episode, and we still tell people that whenever we gave half the tour here during the Smoky Shadows retreat, which was the 3-day witches retreat, and the one thing I said is this place is like a mood ring. If you're coming in here with bad intent and you're expecting something bad to happen, and you are easily scared, or you're just very of a negative frequency, you're probably going to have that bad time here. But whenever we came here, I think the one thing that we talked about before coming here is, hey, let's make sure that we're having a good time. Let's make sure that we're in a positive mindset, because like Rick said, there's some dark stuff here. There is truly dark stuff here. But it is all about intention and manifestation. So again, for anybody that's curious about it, look into it, and reach out to us if you'd like to see it. But it truly is all about intention. And I've been reading pretty much every comment tonight. And one thing that I've seen is I would love to go here, and oh my gosh, I'd be terrified to go here. And that's really the spectrum that I'm talking about here. We chase that kind of stuff, but again, you have to be able to align your chakras to a point to where you can kind of discern what is really happening and what could be basically the manifestation of what's going on in your mind at that point. And I'm going to shut up and let these three talk now.
Well, can somebody answer this? So I like letting chat ask questions. Can you answer if anyone has tried to make a tombstones? Will you pronounce that word?
Homunculus.
Yeah, thank you. I don't even know what
You're
that
welcome.
is, but
Yeah, I come from my craft from a Japanese thing, so it would require a bit more of a specific. In the occult practices, in my opinion, about 60% of the practices are the same, depending on, it literally is the same. And then the differences be on the culture from when you're growing up. So if I'm not sure, I have an idea what that is, but if I say something, it might be incorrect and not what you're meaning, but not that what you're asking is incorrect. It's just I don't know that term. That's probably unique to a particular craft. And I will say one thing in case he gets off while it's at my mind. When I was talking with Doug about coming here, I was kind of loaded for bear, expecting really, really hard, direct, dark questions, and not to go anywhere. These, all of the questions that you've asked me have kind of been like T-ball underhand layup. I always directing you guys to start throwing fastballs at me, saying, "Okay, what about this? What about this?" And as Doug will tell you, I was prepared to answer, swing the hard balls. So,
well, I hope you're not disappointed. We
oh
didn't
no,
ask
no,
you
no,
like
no!
crazy,
I was ready,
what I mean?
and like I say, if you look back in and you want some hardball questions, I can answer you. And some of them are hardball questions if you want to go. But basically, like I say, I was asking basically what you heard, and I apologize to everybody that I speak as much as I do, because there's so much here to talk about if you want. But if you have a question direct, I was going to field it and still will, or can do it another time if you want when you think them up. In other words, when Doug came to me with the Abyss project, and we were talking about looking into some of the darker things that happened, and the occult is there, the occult will always be there, and there are things moving right now in a way that I, as an practicing occultist for my entire adult life, and others are going, damn, there's something about to happen. And it really is. I foresee it happening. It can't tell. The last time I felt, and I say me, and then others kind of like me felt, that things were taking a unique spin in the world was when a few years back, if you remember, all of the different countries were going to open the archways and the portals for Baal. You know, the Baal, the god, the demon god Baal. They were going to do it all over the United States, and people that I know were going like, do they have any idea what they're about to do? And you're going, I don't know. It didn't happen. They backed off of it. There's stuff in play right now that is playing. So once again, the questions you told me were kind of underhand softball, t-ball questions, and I'll answer them all day long for you. But if you have and here or even off the camera, if you wanted to ask, say, okay, what really does this mean? Something, I'll be glad to answer for you. I really will.
Okay, real quick, homunculus. That's when you take energy and you put it into water, usually about 5 volts. It breaks down all the material that you put in there, no matter if it's copper or whatever, and then you drop your DNA in it, and then it makes a flesh-like thing that's sitting in there.
Yeah.
And you don't know if it's dead or alive, but it takes and processes the DNA. That's homunculus.
Okay,
I thought it was an elemental.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of-
what I was thinking, more of an
Kind of
elemental kind
like
of thing.
all
yeah.
your
Oh, it's
like
a physical
the
experiment you
intents
do right in front of your face.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's what Rick meant. Like it's something different probably for a lot of people. I know it as it's kind of like that elemental thing. Like it's never been alive, but a lot of maybe like intent, manifesting sort of situations. Like
I personally have not seen that happen. Once you described it there, if that's what the caller or the person was asking about, I know some people who practice that, and it requires a certain amount of a skill level that is not, if I'm correct, and I may not be because this is not my field. That's like a mathematician try to tell you how to, correctly put an English sentence together. I could get some stuff backwards, but you got somebody talking like that, they're a player. Yeah, I'd like to talk with them a little bit just because I've heard of people trying it, but I've never heard anybody that pulled it off. And if you could, oh yeah, that's something I'm terribly interested in. I will not do it myself because electricity and water and me, we have a bad experience with that in the past. So yeah, I won't be doing it.
Yeah, so does Nathan, exactly.
I think John and I are going to have to set up an episode to test that theory out.
My buddy Bernie did it, and he has it in a jar at his house.
Huh. I'm gonna try
What
that.
does Bernie have in a jar at his house?
Dude, he's got a bunch of jars.
What doesn't
I'm sure
Bernie
he's
have in a
probably
jar?
got
at
a
his
lot
house?
of jars.
What
There's
does
a
Bernie
homunculus in
not
there.
have in a jar?
He calls it little Bernie.
Okay, so Ann Howcroft, good to see you, Ann, as always. You are awesome, Ann. Ann wants to know, Rick, what do you think happens when you die?
Well, that okay, let's get dark. Jug's been waiting on this one. I believe, once again from the Asian, this might be a bit shocking to some people, but in Asia I'm called Tamisha Nagai and Tamisha Nogai. It's a difference. I'm actually a person that believes I do not have a soul, and what I mean by a soul is like everybody, Christian soul. I know hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that claim the same thing. So when you say, what did you die? I'm part of a collective. Some people say legion, but that's trying to put it on with demonology. It's not the case. Everybody talks about they can return to the light, whatever that may be. Now, each religion will have a destination. And depending on where you're born in the world, will pretty much decide on what religion you're going to be. And about 90% and more than 95% of the people never change that indoctrination. And that's fine. I believe people should have their different cultures and should believe in them and pass them on to their children. But if you're considered not to have a soul, and what I mean by soul is the Abrahamic version of what a soul is, I don't believe that exists for me. I'm not saying it doesn't exist for somebody else. I guess how you could explain what I believe happens after you die is like the ocean. If you threw a rock into the ocean and it splashed, and in that splash, a small drop of water, ocean water, goes up into the air. At that point in time, you are separated from the ocean. Just like that's what a lot of Buddhists, not all, but I'm not speaking for them, would say that's where we are. I believe I'm like that little drop of water in the air right now, and when I drop back down to the ocean, I'll become the ocean again. We are all the same. Take away any kind of a dogma or what have you and beliefs. I'm part of the collective. I'm part of everything. Every one of us is the same. Now, if you start getting into consciousness, like what is conscious? This is a hardball question. Good one. Every night you basically die. Literally, your consciousness disengages, and for a certain amount of period when you're asleep, you are not conscious. That's how anesthesia works for hospitals. They don't shut you down. They just disconnect your consciousness. They can cut you in half. Now, where does your consciousness go? If you want to call that a soul, okay. The possibility for me, I'm that drop of water. I go up and I go back. There are people who believe that when you die, you're dead. Just like the millions of years before, they didn't bother you, and when you close your eyes, that's it. I personally believe this whole quantum reality thing is the thing. I think you just pop into the next version of, I guess like you'd say a video game. You couldn't explain this 100 years ago. As a matter of fact, if this was 200 years ago, they would execute all of us for necromancy because we're talking over airways and stuff that would be against any kind of religion.
Choose your own adventure.
Oh, or do what?
A choose your own adventure game.
Exactly. And so it's just like a boss, karma, what have you. If you use the video game analogy, you start a game, you start down this path, something jumps out of the left, whacks you, and you go, oh. Then you go down, and after a while of going down this same path, you know where all the triggers are, and at the end you get to fight the boss, whatever the boss is, I guess. I'm not a gamer. And then if you kill the boss or you win that path, you get the golden ring, then you get to go to the next level of the game.
But
So,
you would have struck me, Rick, you would have struck me as a big gamer.
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, I figured you were on Twitch right now playing,
Live streaming it.
We're live streaming
No,
Farmville or something.
I have an absolutely zero public, what would you call that, digital footprint. I have a Facebook page that's just for me, and I only put that in 2015 to go to a high school reunion kind of thing, and I kind of left it up, and people can still find me there, I guess.
So to get this right, you think our conscience goes to another game? I'm so confused now.
So
I'm not.
Go ahead.
I'm not even sure what a conscious is. Is it thought? What's behind your head? You can get into all kinds of Asian philosophy. I believe.
I've never had a conscience either.
A lot of people
Yeah,
don't.
you don't have a conscience, fools.
You don't.
No. Absolutely.
I will explain.
And you don't
this.
have a brain.
I'll explain the soul as I can. I do not believe. Okay, this is a hardball pitch, but it's an interesting one, and it's just for amusement only. Let's put it that way. I'm not trying to convert anybody to my way of thinking. But in the world, of logic, basic logic, you cannot take something away from somebody until you give it to them first, right? Obviously, you can act like you're going to take it away. And for those of us that were male and went through high school, there was a lot of girls that would, or other people that would flirt or what have you and say, well, if you do this, I'll take this away. They can't really take anything away until they give it to you first, whatever that is. In religion, some religions, and I won't specifically say which ones, the dogma of the religion gave each and every single person a soul. And once you have it and you believe it, then you can lose it. So your soul can be taken away and punished or rewarded or whatever. From many of the other cultures, that soul doesn't exist because we're all the same. It's just you're learning your lessons on your own. Nobody else can say you'll lose your soul. That's bad. Now, I will say that I believe there are people that come here, and many of you may all be that have a sole purpose for coming to this planet. And that is a SOLE. You come for the, just like if you go to the store and your sole purpose for going to the store is to pick up something for lunch tomorrow. Your sole purpose for going to the store is that. I do believe that there are people, bodhisattvas, enlightened people who come to this plane with the purpose of teaching or learning or doing something. Yes, they have a sole purpose for coming here, But I don't consider that personally, and some other people, to be a soul that can be taken away, because we're all the same. We're all the ocean, the sky, the ethereal, whatever you want to be. You know what? You know, I find it amazing. A lot of religions will look at you and say, if you don't do this, you know, this for that. Most religions, to me, and this is getting a little deeper, can be reduced to 3 words: this for that. If you do this, then you get that. And if you don't do this, then you really get that. It's that simple. You know,
You be good or you're going to hell. The
Or-
whole fire and brimstone, right? Like there's
Well-
got to be something very negative
and
in
it's
order
not
to
just
keep you controlled.
it's
See,
not
and
all-
Toombs, you have a good point there, and I don't like religion where religion is damning other people. That you know that is like an instant thing. Like, who are you? Are you God? Nobody knows until we die what is going to happen. So, you know, like that whole "lest not ye judge unless, you know, he be judged themselves." I can't stand when people constantly. I'm free to have my own beliefs. Mine and Rick's beliefs are not the same, and that is cool. We can still have a civil conversation, Rick. And,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? And we can be friends. We can be. There is nothing to do with that. I have Muslim friends. I have Hindu friends. I have you know, Buddhist friends. It doesn't mean that they are bad people. And, you know, that's my opinion. I don't like when people instantly jump up there and, you know, damn other people for their beliefs. A lot of religion, like you said, is based upon where you were raised. I mean, I don't even know how many billion Muslim people in this world that they're Muslim because they grew up in Muslim countries.
Exactly.
They're no different than you, me, Doug. Well, they're probably different in gutters. She's a snooty rich lady. But, yeah, you know what I mean? There's so many people.
In retiring, part of my retirement, I plan to look forward to sitting on a bench and judging people as they walk by and watching Marvin roll his eyes at me every time I do it. But I look forward to that, and you're trying to tell me I shouldn't be doing that?
Oh, no. And it's religion. There are, and this is just my opinion, and I'm voicing it. There are really, really beautiful people in every religion you can ever find. Absolutely stunningly beautiful people, good people. And there are really, really people in every religion that absolutely suck. And they're there to manipulate and learn and go. And you can't judge the religion by one person or what have you. They're mixed in. I will say this, and a lot of the, you know, there are probably, you know, some people say I'm an atheist or an agnostic, that kind of thing. The one thing about it is there are 2,000 religions on the planet right now. You and I agree. You are an atheist to 1,999 of those. I mean, how many of you are worried that if you don't worship the Indian blue elephant god that you're going to be punished? You just do not consider that because that's not your belief. So you're an atheist for 1,999 of those religions. You know, a true atheist is just one more. They just throw them up. All of them can't be wrong or be right, but all of them can be wrong. Now, I'm not trying to judge. You're asking what happens after death. I think each person, because we became sentient and we understand things, every person will deal with that thought in their mind all the way up. I'm pretty much have come to pass with what my belief is, and I'm probably a lot closer to the end game than the rest of you because of my age and what have you. But I'm, you know, the thing is, if you can sit there and look at your creator, your maker, whatever it chooses to be, and you are happy with that, you are doing exactly what you should be doing. But the moment you take your path and you look at someone else and says, if you don't believe what I believe, then I have the right to punch you in the nose, then that's a bit excessive. And there are religions that, and the religion is, they have the mandate to end other people because they don't have the same belief. They can even have the same creator. And it's a dark thing. Right now, we're in a war And who's the three major players?
You know, I see it a little differently. You guys probably closer to Rick. You can't create or destroy energy. You're made of energy. You're going to go back to the source. You're going to go back to the creator. You can't take that away from me. No one can. Your religion has no effect on me whatsoever. You will never take the fact that I'll return to the greatest thing in the world. You know what I mean? Ever. And be with God, be with the creator. You don't have that choice once I tell you that you can't destroy the energy that's inside me. You have no hands. So you can take all of that religion that's bad and flush it down the toilet because it won't work. Okay? That's it. And the only thing that I do believe in is when Jesus came and walked the earth, he told you to walk his path. He didn't tell you to listen to the religion. He didn't tell you to read the book. He said, walk my path. Okay? Do the things that I do. Do not judge anyone. Take them in and can give them salvation for whatever pains they have. Cure them and let them walk on their own way. Okay, that's what he did. That was his path. That was his message. It was nothing else. All the other stuff, man, is to get you hooked up into some system that makes you believe or hate somebody. Okay? And I will never do that. You cannot take my energy from me to use it on that.
So it would be safe to say that you're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
When I tell people too, like people who piously walk through life looking down upon everybody who disagrees with them, that is like the most hypocritical thing you can possibly do. You don't have to agree with everybody about everything, but if you think that you are better than somebody, then, I mean, that is a sin in itself. If you are, if you're following, a Christian religion or something, you can't be above other people. It's just a shitty way to go through life, being judgmental. And John Kaplan, exactly. People are way too judgmental.
Mm-hmm. And I will even go to the point to saying you have the right to be judgmental. You have the right to believe what you want. If you choose to look down on everybody, you have the right to do that. No, right. The ability. For me.
When you got the right, though, you do have the right too, Rick.
But you don't
People have a right to be an asshole.
Exactly.
You can choose whether or not you want to be one, but people have a right to be an asshole.
Exactly. Where that ends is when you say, I can therefore have the right to hit you in the nose. And that can be start a war, end your life, do whatever. At that point in time, it becomes a bit much. If we would all just believe what we wanted to believe, and you don't have to like what somebody else does. You don't have to. It's just like going to a buffet. There's some stuff you will not eat, some stuff you will. What you like. Everybody gets to choose as long as everybody's nice. But when you start sticking your fingers in everybody else's things and you can't eat this, you can't do that, that's being a bit much. So for me, and we're dug in, not to hook back into the abyss, is that right now, every one of you can sit back and look, or anybody who's looking at the news, and right now, there are three groups that are about to cause the world to just change. It just is. And see, I'm old enough to have went through the Cuban Missile Crisis back in the early 60s, when they taught us as grammar school kids to get under the desk and duck and cover and wait for the bomb.
Did you grow up in Miami?
Oh, no. I'm right here for the mountains. Miami would have been close. But, I remember all of the school drills where, they taught you as a first grader or second grader to duck and cover, get under, like that would matter. And you go like, wow, I grew up doing this, doing that. For the rest of my life, I've looked at different things. I've worked with letter agencies. I've done a lot of stuff. But right now, religion, and that's what I will say, and people can disagree, is about to blow the world up. And I don't mean I've got a doom and gloom. I'm hoping. I will give you one thing that I do, and then I'll try to be quiet and let everybody else talk. Is I live my day. Now, I'm a dark practitioner, have been for my life, love it. I'm the guy that would be in the deep end of the pool in the dark, swimming and just see what happens. That's me. It's my nature. Doesn't make me bad, good, bad, worse. It's just what I do. But I live every day as if it's my last normal day. And that's the Asian part of coming in. The last normal day. Everybody will recognize, and some of you have had those last normal days already. The last normal day is right now it is, I can take $1 and I can go to Walmart and I can buy something for $1 and I can go home and I can drive or go in. And it's a normal day. There will come a time when you do not have a last normal day. It can be because of a diagnosis you could get. One day you were fine, and the next day, oh my God. The next day you could lose a loved one. Things. The world could change. The water could stop. The electricity could stop. If you appreciate every day.
I just got a text message while we were on the stream that a family member of mine just passed away.
Yeah.
That's like you say. I mean, it's snap of a finger, bam.
And that relative's close family just had their last normal day for a while because the day before it didn't exist. And so everybody can look at what they want. This place, put that together, is we look for people who come here who cannot, because of what they choose to believe differently. The easiest things just to say is to do, Pascal's way, just agree to the terms, and everybody goes, yep, I agree to do this, and you're in, you're safe, and everybody treats you on, and then they run around on the side and do the stuff they want. But everybody who comes here, everybody wants their last, live your last normal day. And if you can do that, mine may be tomorrow. I could fall down these steps here tomorrow and it'll be the end. That's my last normal day. Couldn't walk after that. Anybody can have it. I consider myself to be here to be blessed, just like you there that just talked about how you're part of it. All energy can't be destroyed, Nathan. Once you find that peace, stay with it. I mean, don't let anybody knock you off of it, no matter what their belief is. And unfortunately, there are people who will not agree with you and want to punch you in the face and fight you for it. And I believe that's wrong. Let you believe what you want. And Nathan, I'm quite sure that if somebody stepped in the front door of you and said, let's go, you'd be right there. You wouldn't back up an inch. You would defend yourself and your beliefs to the end. And that's perfectly good. But you don't look like a type of guy who would initiate that on somebody who didn't believe what you want necessarily. See, exactly. If the rest of the world would just do that, then we definitely wouldn't be in the Middle East.
Nathan is actually only 3'2", but 2 of those feet are his head.
I would say the 3'2" thing probably goes from shoulder to shoulder. But,
and we did just find out that Miss Scarlet is a globetard too. So yeah, the Earth is round. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I have the common decency. Once I whooped you, I'd pick you up, dust you off, get you something. You know what I mean? Have a beer with you afterward. But I don't have any anger towards you whatsoever.
Exactly.
Well, see, that's how guys do. They can have that thing. It'd be like you get in an argument and be like, all right, so we can duke it out. And then 2 hours later, we're drinking a beer saying, God dang, that hurt. Oh, my knuckles hurt, this and that. Women will sit on that and dwell on it. And they'll be like 10 years later, they're like, you remember that thing you said 10 years ago? And it's like, holy shit, you've been thinking about this for 10 years.
Right.
Only if it's husbands and wives.
Well, and like I say, I'm going over and I start talking. That was a hardball question. So thank you for that one, wherever it came from, whether it was from the reader, what have you, what happens after you die. That would be more of a hardball question. And it brings in genuine response back and forth. And it makes you think as much to yourself. A good question, you will spend as much time contemplating on your own as you did the answers. Doesn't mean anybody's going to change you or that you could ever be changed. But if it makes you think a little bit, then that's a good thing. And like Doug says, which is what he's leading in with the abyss as much as he is, as I'm coming to understand, is that if we don't all have to sit down and sing Kumbaya together or something, just don't strike out at your neighbor because they don't believe what you want. Now, if he crosses into your stuff and starts it, you deal with it. But
it becomes an HOA at that point.
Yeah, I don't like those much.
No, I couldn't live. The first time at 3 o'clock in the morning and I shot a shotgun off my back porch, I would be kicked out of the HOA, I promise you.
Yeah, there was no HOA in this place. I couldn't imagine. I'm the neighbor in this neighborhood. Everybody goes, who's the neighbor? It's me. We try to keep everything calm and quiet, but on a full moon, when you look out through the bamboo and you look up and from the road, if you can see it, depending on the time of the year, and you see 10 women and guys dressed in black holding up daggers for a Sabbath or a moon, everybody's going like, oh, damn, what's going on there? So, yeah.
I thought you were going a different route with that. I thought you were going to say if you see, 10 naked people dancing around.
Oh, now
I'm like, that's my backyard.
I've heard that it's
Saturday
called Skyclad or something. I'm not there. I'm not going to say that hasn't happened here. But once again, remember the two people that you would see in the hot tub? Okay, imagine
the one
that
in
with
that circle.
Oh, probably a lot of them. Yeah. Like I'll just go back in here and watch Space Ghost. I'm not gonna worry about this.
Did you just say Space Ghost? You just say Space Ghost? We're talking about Zorak now?
Of course, I just go in and watch Space Ghost. I'm not gonna watch a bunch of non-dressed women walk around with knives. No.
Well, that's castration day. You got to run for the hills.
I mean, if we're talking about Space Ghost and non-dressed women with knives, I don't know. I might be caught in a conundrum here.
Oh, you can go out and watch it, and when you go like, yeah, I'm done with that, I think I'll come here and watch Space Ghost. We'll watch Space Ghost. I'm not going to judge.
The way you talk about women, you might have a bunch of women with knives.
I'd be like, hey, broads, what's going on? You know, and then next thing, holy cow.
I don't even trust my wife with a knife.
Be a good sacrificial lamb right there.
I know.
There we go.
Sacrifice me now. Offer me. So, Josh, Christy, you got anything to add to the end of this? I want to hear Christy talk. I really haven't heard anything from her.
I really don't have anything to add. Except, I've enjoyed talking to y'all. I know I choked up a little bit there at first, but kind of getting used to it now. So.
No, man, it's all good. There's never no pressure here. And like Rick, I think Rick was expecting a bunch of hardball questions, and not really. We just wanted to know you and know who you were. We're not about bringing guests on here and just crucifying them, basically. Yeah, you know what I mean?
No, I was looking forward to the hardball questions. I really was.
Okay, well, you come back and we'll hardball the hell out of it.
Oh yeah, we can make everybody upset.
Right. They'll
call it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Trust me, we can do that in a heartbeat. I was ready for it. I was telling them, it's like, so you're going to pick a fight? No, not really, but I was expecting hardball questions, and this last one was a good one. And the hardball questions are going to come from your people watching. That's where it always comes in.
Wait till next time.
Yeah.
I
mean, if
do
you
have
want
one,
hardball
but I think
questions,
I'll
come
save
back.
it. I think I'll save it for next time.
Go ahead, Toombs. If you got one, go ahead.
I was gonna ask about this. I've been watching quite a few of the paranormal groups that have been there, and I hear Alan mentioned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one we can talk about, or
that would be my uncle, and
okay.
He has long since passed. A Vietnam vet. You don't speak bad about it. If Alan had the connections, he would have been on Epstein Island.
Gotcha. That's what I was kind of picking up.
And been just fine. He would have been on Epstein Island every chance he could be. Yes. Without going into them.
And he's reportedly still kind of hanging out there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Got pictures of him in the windows on what people have taken here. Pretty much. I'm usually here, like I say, I've lived here off and on, and I've had female friends that have lived here with me from time to time. And you get those 3 words. Wait a minute. What was that? Anytime you start getting 3-word sentences, it's pretty much done. Literally, they go, wait a minute. You go, what? And they go, what was that? And you go, okay. So you start doing things. So, Alan, very big thing here. You must have watched did you see the Scare Network thing? Is that one you saw?
I watched.
Yeah.
I watched those.
Yeah,
I watched that one, and then there was so many of them. I watched a bunch because I started getting into them, and they all.
My family on this location, like I say, about 10 brothers and sisters. Half of them would be straight up gangsters. The kinds that every cop would know and not want to deal with individually because they'll just do stuff. And once I bought this property, I found out even more and more and more about people who would come up and say, by the way, your uncles used to do this to me. And first person, I'm going like, my goodness, I had no idea. Then also I had uncles that were, military, an admiral, pilots and naval pilots, all kind of stuff that are just as good. My father kept me on the straight and narrow instead of the other one, so to speak. But yes, Alan is supposedly still here. Quite proud of the fact that he's here. Doesn't always show up. Do I think there's a bar out front, and that is the Glen Allen Bar, and it's just to him, and it's got his picture in it, and Doug and him will see it and walk out by it, and that's to keep him kind of calm. Is he here? Do I believe so? Some aspect of him is, and we could get real graphic, but we're not going to do that on the air. But yeah, he was around, still is.
Okay.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah. I was wondering, because it seems like your family, I have family from southern Missouri, and I wish the most I could say was that they were moonshiners, but it's like half of them were police, which I can't even say that they were the best of people, but like you had them on both sides of the law, essentially.
Yeah. What is wrong with moonshine? I took one of my favorite things I ever
Nothing.
did.
It was
I took
just illegal at the time. That was.
I took 30 bottles of Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill and distilled the liquor out of it one time, and made moonshine. And then we drank. It only made about a quart, by the time we got it out of there, got all the sugar out, and distilled it. Oh my God! We sat there and drank it and played cards. I have never been more hungover in my life that next morning. That was absolutely awful.
I'm surprised you didn't go blind.
Well, I didn't use a radiator from a fucking 1957 Chevy or something,
Well, my grandpa made it in the bathtub, so.
No, that's meth.
We had to go out and shower in the summer. We went out and showered with the garden hose. And
with moonshine? You showered with moonshine?
No, the tub was for the moonshine. Us kids had to go outside with the hose, and Grandma would wash our hair and.
Or it gets the hose.
It was interesting. My granny was interesting.
John, you've been quiet over there. You got any last words for us or anything like that, my friend?
No, just whenever I get around Rick, I just love listening to his stories. I never want to make him stop. Every once in a while I'll have something I want to throw in, but it's just been nice to hear some stories and stuff. So no, it's been a good night.
No, I like it. And I like Rick too. I mean, I think, personally our beliefs are different, but it doesn't mean that people can't be friends. And that is super cool, And I get nothing but good vibes from Rick. I think Rick's a good guy. So, I'd like to meet you sometime, Rick. That would be cool.
Oh, absolutely.
We are getting, we do want to know. I want my Halloween invite. I want my Halloween invite. So, Doug, you got to hook me up on this one.
Halloween parties here can be epic. And, we'll just leave it at that for now. And next time we talk, I'll fill you in on some more stuff. I'll make sure that everybody has a good time at the parties. I really do. Doug and some of them would know about my past, things. But when people, Doug had a big party. How I used to throw some of the parties, I would hire entertainment to guarantee that everybody had a good time.
Oh, really?
And I don't. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
Nathan wants an invitation now.
Okay, now that can be construed. That can be construed in a very Aleister Crowley way, and that's not the case.
Oh.
After a few times of people jumping into the hot tub, and it is absolutely true when I said it was the two people that you didn't want to see in the hot tub. After that, it happened a few times. Then I did talk to some people whose job was to jump into the hot tub at a certain time. That was more appealing to the general population.
Well, Nathan does need some extra work, so he's out there. If he, I'm sure $20 is $20 to Nathan. So you can throw that out there anytime you want. He will definitely jump out there, and come guns a-blazing.
Yeah. So that has that kind of could happen here. And it's you visit the local dancing establishment that specializes in the type of dancing that you want, and you just say, hey, you want to come to a party and put on a show, and they show up. Well, as a matter of fact, for the witches thing, there was a burlesque show here. Pretty good one. I didn't do it. The witches brought it. But yeah, Doug saw him, and pretty good burlesque show, wasn't it, Doug? That was good.
Wait a minute,
It
Doug,
was
you're holding
interesting.
back on me. Doug's holding back on me now. You're not telling me it's
Well,
because of
hey,
burlesque
I
shows
wasn't.
and
I
stuff.
wasn't alone. I wasn't
Christy
alone.
was there.
That was
Christy
Josh
was
and
there.
too. Yeah. And
So,
Josh
well,
and Christy were there.
let me ask
I mean,
Christy then. Let me ask Christy. We haven't heard from her. Christy, how was the burlesque show? Can you tell us about that?
It was really cool seeing somebody writhing around and balancing a sword on their head, and it didn't move.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I want to go.
I know. I'm so tempted now. We got to get the invite.
Oh, we saw Doug drinking last time on the show, okay? We saw his special hat that he had on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And his cool guy vibes.
Oh
and
yeah, where he's got like
you
the
know,
Miller
oh,
High
yeah.
Life hat, where he's walking around the Miller High Life hat and
Oh yeah,
doing
Appalachian Pears. Yeah.
Yeah, we caught you.
Yeah. I told John about that. I said they went digging
too.
for some treasure. They found it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you known Christy that long to where she was helping you film those videos back when you were in college, those movies? Or,
Well, synchronicity is a crazy thing because we were actually outside talking with Rick about how long Christy and I have been together. Christy and I have we're actually married. And so we've been together for 24, going on 24 years. So yeah, she was 100% helping with all the films and yeah. And John and I almost getting arrested a couple times. So
those
Yeah.
are always good stories.
It turns out if people drive by and you're in the parking lot for an elementary school and you're covered in fake blood and there's somebody has
Swords.
a katana, the cops want to know.
Real weapons.
But we
So
were
you're
just
telling me you're on a list.
I get that.
you know what was funny? What was funny is that the cops actually went to our YouTube channel way back in the day, watched the videos, loved them, thought they were funny, and let us go. So it worked out in our favor.
Try doing that in 2026 and let's see what happens.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna say, hey, see, this is why I'm hanging out in the cemetery officers.
Yeah, it works. But yeah, we'll definitely have to get with Rick about doing maybe like a Halloween bro. So
Exactly. Like I say, it's
well.
like Vegas. What happens at the shrine stays at the shrine. Yes.
Nice.
I like it. I'll be there then.
All right, let us
If
know.
I get an invite.
Let us know. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. We're over 2 hours. Hell, we're 2 hours and 22 minutes in, but this has been absolutely awesome. Super cool stuff there. Doug, you got any last words you want to shout out from the Wendibros or anything like that you want to put out there for all the peeps?
I think we talked a lot about what we have coming up. We have the West Kentucky Paranormal Expo in September 26th. Then we sounds like we may be having a Halloween party, and then we have Screamiverse coming up. I think that was in April. We have Smoky Mountain Terror next year as well, along with Sausage Over Appalachia Sausage Fest. I hope Toombs is going to be there, and hopefully Toombs and I will be working together along with the Wendibros doing the Ed and Lorraine Warren True Story. So I would love for John, Christy, and Josh to talk a little bit about where they can be found and what they're up to too, and I'll shut up from here. But yeah, I'm going to let them have the spotlight tonight.
There you go. John, take it away.
No, well, Doug's touched on everything good. I don't really have anything else good to add. I don't think. I'm looking forward to all the stuff we've got going on. Looking forward to the next episode, and yeah.
Well, I mean, you got any social medias you want to shout out?
Oh well, yeah. So okay, I play music. He always likes to do this on our episodes, but now he makes me do it sometimes. I play music.
Gutters plays the skin flute.
Oh my
almost
God!
Met her
You
calling
did
it that.
not.
She almost did the walrus right there.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that since you put my number on every urinal. So
Go ahead, John. Sorry about that. I just had to get Gutters while she was taking a sip of that coffee.
Thanks.
So yeah, I play music, and you can find that if you want to. It's called Strangers When We Meet. It's we're kind of like a kind of a folk rock type of band. We have different genres all on one album. we like to say we're emo for good old boys, but good old boys isn't really a good term anymore. So it's like story, singer-songwriters type stuff. So you can find that at Strangers When We Meet, all the streaming, YouTube, Spotify.
So that's on YouTube.
Yeah, you can find us on YouTube, Strangers When We Meet, but you have to put in band because it's a song as well. And
now, well, let me ask you this, John: Are you watching the stream right now?
Watching? Yeah, I'm on the stream.
Okay, cool. Comment in there. I'll make you a mod and drop that link. How about that?
Okay, let's see if I can do
Yeah,
that.
go on ahead and do that. And while you're doing that, just leave us a comment right there, and I'll make you a mod. You can drop the links to all your stuff. Josh, Christy, what you got for us?
I really don't have anything to plug, but if you enjoy memes and funny shit or useless trivia, you can find me on Instagram at _Josh_Buckles, and that's really all I have.
Buckles means business.
Yeah,
Buckle. Okay, I was kind of curious.
Well, you had fools at trivia, so.
Yeah, I know. Why are you not playing trivia with us on Sunday nights? We do a live trivia night here every Sunday night.
Josh will probably win.
Chat-based. You put 1, 2, 3, or 4 into chat. We give away prizes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You'd be over here on Sunday nights.
yeah, I'd really like to see what all that's about.
I know, it's actually super cool. I got really 2 beautiful co-hosts to come up and maybe possibly show a little cleavage every now and then as well. It's actually a pretty good show. So it's a lot of fun. Christy, what about you? What are you gonna plug? I was gonna say you're gonna plug.
Christy's our celebrity.
That might have been taken out of context if I said that.
Yeah, Christy, go ahead, give it to him. Slap him.
Well, I also write under the name Reggie Ann. I actually have 2 novels out. It's called the Conniption series. It's about a metal band trying to make it big and life happens. It's very big in mental health, things like that. Available on Amazon, paperback, Kindle Unlimited. And my Instagram is reggie.ann.author.com, or not .com, just Reggie Ann Author. All socials is just Reggie Ann Author, and that's about it. I'm a woman of few words. I write more than I speak.
She does speak in events. She goes to writing events. But yeah, they've been a pretty decent success, and we're pretty proud of Christy for releasing those novels and getting out of her comfort zone too. And John, yeah, definitely with Strangers When We Meet. I'm always trying to plug them. I think J-Dub and his band and I are constantly sharing social media for each other. But yeah, everybody has a great creative outlet too, and so.
No, that's super cool. And Doug, you are a mod here as well. John, you what the heck? Where did John? Did you comment, John? Let me see.
Yeah, it's at Mr. Miss the Spike. That's something.
Well,
really
yeah,
different.
you could have thrown that one out. I'm looking for John or something.
Yeah.
At Mr. What?
Yeah, no, that's because of a. Has anybody ever heard of a kendama?
No.
So this is a Japanese. It was popularized in Japan. It's a skill toy. You've got 3 cups, and then you got a spike, and so the ball has a hole, and it's a skill toy. Me and my family, we all play. It really got big during COVID, and a friend at work showed it to me, and that's what that's about.
Yeah, maybe you're commenting in
Oh, I commented in the...
Yeah, right. Hey,
hold on.
Listen, Doug's a mod over here. Doug, drop any link you want to drop. Just go on ahead and while we wrap this up, go on ahead, drop any link you want, Doug. Pump them out. Pump the links out in the chat. Nathan, you got anything cool coming up for us? Fresh off of Tesla Tech, you're back. You're like a celebrity now.
No, I just want to thank everybody there for having me, man. I did a great presentation over there, man. Really cool entropy pump. For those of you who don't know, I do physics. So I know pretty much a lot of stuff about everything, and a lot of stuff about how plasma and everything works. So I presented on an empty pump for gravity and wrote 4 equations that'll give you the gravitation of the Earth. So yeah, it went over really well, man. Everybody enjoyed it. I had a great time. So that's all that went on there. And then I got some new projects coming up, some over Unity projects that I wanted to show. And then hopefully my little UFO project gets a little more weight loss on it. It's at 1.5 pounds. And I'm hoping to get that to the full 3 pounds of the weight that it's on it. And if I could do that, then I'll set a physics record, and then we'll see if it lifts. At that point, man, I'll be the first one to fly one.
And that is absolutely awesome. You can find Nathan on any platform. Go over there. Just type in Old Man Builds. I promise you he's going to be the only person who comes up. If you ain't subbed up to him, go over there and check it out. Gutters Pub. You got anything? You going to be back live
Nathan
with
also
us?
knows a little about coconuts. It's not.
He does know about coconuts. Nathan does. Here you go.
I got a big old dog collar and I like to get shocked. So, alright, we have these little grapes here. No, that's not the size of my balls. Okay?
See, that's our token mad scientist right there. That's why we keep him around, folks. He is absolutely awesome.
Presentation around here never goes away.
Never getting rid of it. The internet is eternal, and it never gives away. Gutters, you got anything coming up for us?
Tuesday probably we'll be hopefully doing a stream. Yeah, so we'll see what happens on Tuesday. See what we're gonna do it about. I don't know yet.
Yeah, it's pretty easy peasy right there as well. I like the way y'all make me do this for you. So just go on ahead and type in Gutters Pub. I know Nightbot has been dropping it. Nightbot's been dropping the Wendibros link as well all night long. Make sure you get over there and sub them up. Tombstones, last but not least, our redheaded stepchild coming in here. What do you got for us?
I just before we went live, I posted a new short. I'm getting all of the headstones that I've been cleaning over the last couple weeks. Trying to get all those shorts posted. So I've got one up that just went up tonight. So go check it out. I've got a couple over the last 2 days. And then tomorrow I'm gonna put another one up, and I'm gonna kind of do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've got like 30 something I've cleaned. I have to count them all up. I'm not so good with the math. I'm gonna.
She can't even
show
count
them all.
how
All the
many
ones I've
cats she
cleaned.
has. She's so bad at math, she can't even count how many cats she has.
Well, after 10, I lose
Right.
count.
You gotta start using your
So-
paws.
You gotta take her shoes off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pretty tough.
So, yeah.
But it's pretty easy. You can go over there and look up Tombstone's Dead Air Time. If you're not subbed up to her, it would be great to get her to 1,000 subscribers before YouTube changes their new terms of services. Yeah, she does a lot of good things. Goes up there and cleans graves of forgotten people and tells their stories and stuff like that. It's actually really cool. A very noble cause. So go over there and check her out. Support her as well. Rick, man, I got to say thanks for coming up here talking to us. I hope we didn't disappoint with not hardball questions, but I just wanted to, you know what I mean, get to know somebody and do something, not be an asshole and just quiz you to death.
Thank you for having me. Everybody's talking about what they're doing. I actually do very little here, as Doug and the others here will know. The only thing I've got going on is I've been working on a ritual, the Blackgate ritual, for about 10 months now. I'm hoping to have it finished before Halloween, hopefully, for the party. And everybody goes, wait a minute, that's a different thing. Yeah, magic is different. So I've been working on it for about 10 months. Doug and all of them have been around. And I've got to get it out and finish it because that's the area I put the cold water in with the waterfall. Right now I have to second use that to be able to practice this particular ritual I'm working on. I'll get there. I might be on like the 80-yard line, 20 more and I score. So we'll see what happens, or I'll get set back. But any of you want to invite me back, I'll be willing to answer. Hardball questions are great. You guys are a good group, and now that I know that Nathan is a physicist, and yeah, we're gonna have some talks with him. He got brains, you know. That's what 3 foot shoulders. I get it. We'll talk. Yeah, got some questions for you too.
Yeah, he's wider than he is tall. Like I said, he's only 3'5", and his head does take up most of that. But yeah, you know, we don't measure, we don't measure everything, from the base over here. So
he measures everything in clown mirror is what he does. He's got to have certain parts always look bigger.
Love you, Nathan. No, I'm kidding. So everybody, Rick's got no social media, but if you are ever interested, go over there, check out the Eura Shrine. Rick, I really do want a invitation to this Halloween party. There's quite a bit of chatter going on in the chat throughout tonight. People are interested in this. I don't know. We got to be careful with people on the internet, but
look at all those mirrors on the ceiling up there. We're all
some of them are
trouble
tempting.
now.
Some of these chatters are tempting.
Yeah, you're not hiding anything up there.
It's like Fool's bedroom, I bet.
No, mine's nothing but mirrors on the ceiling.
Oh, I thought that was mirrors.
It was.
Oh, okay. Well, it is like mine.
That's the ceiling above the table.
Mm. Oh, wow. All right, before I make any bad comments on that, that'll get me in trouble. Yeah, I definitely, we're going to get out of here, folks. But, Doug, shout out to you, man, making this happen, setting all this stuff up. You are freaking awesome, my friend. Anything you ever need from me, you know you got that.
Oh, no, I'm glad we can make it happen. And, I thought it was a good time and very thankful to Rick for allowing us to come here and set up and helping us set up. And Rick is always a great interview no matter what. And you can listen to Rick talk for hours for sure.
No, and I like it. It was wonderful to meet your beautiful wife as well. Like, everything was so cool, so chill tonight. I really like that. And Rick, you're an awesome guy, man. That's super cool. If you want us to ask you hardball questions, come back up here.
We'll come back.
And we will.
Come back. Yeah,
exactly. But
I will say, if anybody wants to know, Rick's story and the information behind it, and it's not to plug our channel, but do go watch. There's 2 different versions of it. So we have the episode with the investigation portion, which is over 2 hours long, and we give Rick full opportunity to talk throughout that episode and really describe everything in full detail for what you probably had questions about tonight. And if you don't want to have the investigation portion, then it's just us sitting around a campfire, around a pentagram campfire. And and you can actually just listen to the dialogue between the Wendibros and Rick. So that's out there for anybody that's genuinely curious about what all the Euro Shrine entails in full detail.
And I watched that, and it is actually a great listen. So go over there and check it out. Make sure you sub up the Wendibros. Like I said, Nightbot has been dropping that link. Doug, drop it again if you can before we get out of here. Folks, I got a live college football preview show tomorrow night. Gutters Pub is absolutely just, so excited about that coming up. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. And as always, we do trivia every Sunday night at 10 o'clock. Every Sunday night, and all these times are real time. That is Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you tune into those if you like trivia, you like things like that. We give away cool prizes. We have a good time. I've got, like I said, beautiful co-hosts that come up here with me. Other than that, Rick, thank you very much once again for taking your time and showing us around your place and telling us about what the heck you got going on. Great guest. I hope everybody out there has a great night. Please tell us goodbye. We're going to go out and do something cool. So, see you later, alligator.
After a while, rock it down.
You always got to throw that in there, don't you?
Have a good night, everybody.
And a special shout out to Johnny Utah, Mr. Duggar, Steve Harloha. We got Steve Harloha coming in here a couple times. John Kaplan. Vortex, all these people who came in here and supported these. All of these are always user funded. I sound like a public radio broadcaster at this point, but that is okay. So check us out tomorrow night, college football preview show. We are the variety channel over here. Trivia on Sunday nights. Got a bunch of cool Little Miss Red Velvet, we will make